So I just remember, I'm like, oh shit, I got...
You got chocolate, did you? That's what I've got.
Oh,
I win.
Hello and welcome to...
Come in, my teeth!
We're changing
Jesus
it around.
Christ, give me a moment
Let's take
to
over,
get
guys.
my
Let's go.
A group of nerdy-ass nobodies playing D&D.
Whoa!
We
I
have
am not
I was
nerdy.
going to say, one somebody, surely at this table, between us. No?
Maybe between us we're all a quarter of a somebody.
I like that. I like that.
Hi!
Right, we've actually got, for once, a fairly busy, organised schedule to get on with. So, unless anyone's got anything to say, we'll dive straight into it.
Futtocks.
I know. Wow, that's a great word.
That's a weird
What
one.
does it mean?
It was an old Shakespearean swear.
Now you know.
Well, now we go.
Now you know. So, last time, if I doth remember correctly, the party
Terrible.
had encountered a couple of ogres who, after a bit of toing and throwing with some intimidation, you had managed to convince to take you on a crocodile hunt. A crocodile hunt that, victorious, would allow you to meet... Stop looking at me, Fiona. It would allow you to meet their leader and sort of just immerse yourself into the ogre society, who were one of the 3 tribes on the island that Captain Grumac and the information you had thus far had told you about. You were, of course, collecting supplies, food, materials, as you could get to bring back to the Athena. During the combat, unfortunately,
Nothing went wrong.
it just...
It was fine.
A
The footage got
sequence.
wiped. We went over this.
a sequence of just poor luck and good luck on creature sides and whatever. We unfortunately lost a member of our party.
One could say it was a series of unfortunate events.
Oh, copyrighted.
Get out.
Probably.
YouTube
Yeah, so
ban.
Let me stick us back.
We unexpectedly lost one of the party. The rest of the episode was yeah, it was it was good. Watching it back, it was good. It was very different, but it was a collection of grieving and collecting and trying to figure out what had happened.
It was Oscar noteworthy, I have to say.
It was.
You guys would all been up for nominations.
It was really
I
good.
apologise.
It was better than half of the Oscar winners, I think. Probably not the
Best
other
new
half.
picture, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Leading director. After a couple of hours of restless sleeping, a burial that eventually was unburied, and various other bits and pieces, the party decided to make its way back into the centre of the bowl, hunting what was seen by Theren as an unnaturally powerful lightning bolt hitting the centre of the bowl. The target, shrouded by trees, and from where you were at the time, the only way to find out was to go and have a look. And so, perhaps in desperation, perhaps in reckless, just, screw it, who knows what made the decision, the party decided to go in. After encountering and actually quite ably defeating a reasonably powerful undead ghoul, you made your way downhill into the centre of the bowl, the swampy ground beginning to become more and more liquidy. The bits of firm terrain, those grassy mounds that you're finding yourself standing on, the roots, just anywhere that you can get firm ground, becoming less and less available to you as you descend into the bowl until you hit the shoreline of a lake. Now, looking across this lake, again, probably about 1,000 meters in diameter, is somewhere between a stagnant pool of water, a lake, and a swamp. Lily pads and other reeds and swampy vegetation is grown in places. The bank and the shoreline kind of in places doesn't really exist. It's just a case where the ground begins to get more and more wet until slowly it's underwater. In fact, in some places the grass, actually you can still see the water coming through it, and it's where the defined bank is, you're not overly sure. But your attention was drawn to the middle of the island, where you see 2 things. Firstly, a wooden hut created of sticks and logs that have been put together, but it's like a teepee, sort of inverted, sort of triangle shape, a little bit like that as you're sort of going along, that looked, from what you could see, potentially lived in. You weren't sure. It was very difficult to tell. In the sort of the dawn is starting to rise now. You're still, again, you didn't get proper night's sleep, but you have made your way here. Dawn light beginning to slowly start to break. You left probably about 3 o'clock in the morning. It's taken you sort of a few hours to get to this point. And probably actually it may have even been proper dawn by now, thinking about it, because you would have been moving quite slowly. So call it 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. The second thing you see on the middle of this island is a second wooden structure. It's difficult to tell whether or not it started as another wooden structure, as the first one that you've seen on the other side of the island, or whether it was a tree, a large tree of some kind. But this thing has been just ripped apart by some sort of force. You would hazard by lightning, by the embers and the smoke still rising off bits of it, a sort of almost white flame in places on it. This tree, probably about 15 feet at the base in diameter, probably about 100 feet. You can see half of the tree is now fallen into the lake, the other half, a sort of stump. You can see where the tree is cracked in half, leaves in the water now beginning to float away, but the rest of it, the smouldering hunk of the stump of the tree now sort of beginning to burn away. And that is what you see. What would you like to do?
I think it stands to reason that this is where the lightning bolt hit.
Yep. Looks light over there. Yep. How are we going to get over there?
I don't know. We could use, see if we could use the log. Can we use the log to traverse the water?
So, sorry, just
Didn't expect
Nice timing.
so soon.
nice.
didn't expect that at all.
Wasn't expecting
Questions.
questions.
Beer down the long hole, not a good
Long
place.
hole.
Ugh. So, looking at it, it probably would help you to at least half of the journey. Yeah, it's the tree was big. It was probably about 100 and 150 feet tall, and the way that it has fallen into the water on the other side of the bank means that in the sort of shorter place of the lake, where maybe there's about 400 feet between the bank and where the island begins, the tree has kind of fallen in and covers almost half of the journey. So there's still a large amount of water to cover, but there is a bit that you think you could probably either climb on top of the tree that's now fallen into this lake. In fact, actually, you can both make me a nature check.
Great.
Let's see whether or not we got some reasoning that was spectacular.
Yeah, you missed.
Put it back in the bowl. Put it in the tray. It doesn't count if it's not in the
Oh,
tray.
that's a shame because that was a 14.
There we go.
Hey, I got a 14.
There we go. We gotta. It's the look of disappointment on your face when you rolled it outside. I feel I had to force you to do that. You know it was 6. No, you just so you see what you see.
What you've already described.
A tree.
Yeah, exactly. Looking around, there are other bits of debris, other trees that could be felled. There's certainly other options available to you, but there's no bridge, there's no easy sort of way of getting across.
Can I ask a nerdy question?
You may.
Do half elves, you only need 4 hours trancing, don't
No,
you?
I need a full sleep.
That was my nerdy question.
Don't do
It's
that.
only
It's
elves that can do the
stereotypical.
4-hour meditation thing.
And they technically still need an 8-hour long rest.
Ah,
It's
because they
just-
spend the other time just chilling.
Yeah, they have to look cool. But the technical trance bit is only the 4 hours. Elves make very good people to have on watch because they don't need to spend the whole thing sleeping.
Badass, thank you. Okay.
Alright, so what we're going to have to do is get some of this debris together. We can use some of the rope from my pack. We'll lash it all together, make a raft.
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, there probably could be another one of those crocodile things in the water.
Good question. Should we look for some of those before we head out?
That might be an idea.
Can we look for crocodiles?
You certainly may. It sounds like a perception check that you can both make for me.
Better.
The two, because it's the two of
Jesus
you,
Christ.
you can either make independent checks.
I
You
leave.
brought new dice this time. It's about time. It's about time. Oh my god, I really wish
Not that this
somebody
counts.
has been keeping track.
What even?
Oh, that's all so low. Okay, I'm just bad at this.
I think we just need to get
Because
rid of
it's
this
only 2
smell.
if you want to make advantage checks, so you both rolled this time, but you can do it with advantage with one of you if you want.
You did all right.
But we rolled independently now.
13.
13. No, you actually don't see anything in the water. There's nothing moving. The only movement you can see is bits and pieces of reeds and the branches of the tree that has fallen over, sort of swaying, causing ripples. The wind. It's a big, open, exposed lake, and whilst the trees around the banks are pretty high and the canopy comes over considerably, there's enough wind to keep it moving, but you can't see anything that looks out of place.
I think we should be better safe than sorry. I want to pick up a nearby rock if there is one and chuck it in the water.
Yeah, you can easily find something like that.
Sploosh.
Sploosh. In it goes.
Sploosh.
You wait 10, 20, 30 seconds. You don't see anything.
All right,
Let's make a boat.
let's make a boat.
And so the corporate away day begins. What could go wrong?
Oh my god, yes!
So he would like to lead the construction process.
Would my smithing skills help? It's more tinkering, isn't it? Or wood carving.
So you are smithing, not carpentry, right?
Yeah.
Okay, smithing. So it's not really metal work, but I mean, it's not dissimilar, but it's not the right sort of thing. It's more sort of knot tying and yeah, for this particular moment. So one of you will lead it, the other one will help assist.
Why don't I lead it with more intelligence? I think this might be intelligence based.
Okay.
Cool.
I can do the
Also,
grunt work. I'm quite good with my hands.
Yeah.
knots and stuff, I imagine I went through them a fair bit in training, so...
Sure thing.
So is that roll with advantage?
Okay, yeah, with advantage, but I'd like you to make 3 checks for me. I'd like you to
Jesus.
make an athletics check to see how well you can scour the area for materials. I'd like you to make a sleight of hand check to see how well the rope is tied, and I'd like you to make a general intelligence check to see how well your design
Good
holds
luck.
up.
Is it advantage on all?
All of them, because blue is helping.
I could.
Really?
I'm gonna roll...
And if you want to individually
The white
take,
ones. Oh my god.
give up tasks, so one of you does each of those things.
Pretty good with ropes.
What's your athletics modifier?
+5.
Right, okay. And your dexterity is +1.
Are we allowed to do this?
Go on then.
Okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
Just saying it, Aubrey could do all
You
those things.
would kind of be in game. You'd be relaying like, oh yeah, man, I'm quite good at ropes. I've done this and that and whatever.
We've
So
tied
Well,
ropes together.
Theren knows that blue is stronger than him. So if it's down to athletics, as much as it will probably wound him to admit, blue probably has the edge here. Sleight of hand, blue would also have the edge. And
You're very good at
intelligence,
directing, Theren.
Theren would have the
I
edge.
like this. So Theren is taking the project manager
Manager,
role
yeah,
while
yeah.
Blue does the work.
Oh,
Brilliant.
yes.
I love it.
I mean, yeah.
Go
how
for
I
it.
always
So
saw it.
first of all, we'll go for the athletics check.
Oh no, bad. 11.
11. After that, I'd like to see the sleight of hand
Oh,
check.
come on. Oh my god, what's wrong with you?
10. 11 again, actually. 11.
Oh,
11.
come on.
11 and 11.
Oh, better.
14 for intelligence.
14 for intelligence. Okay.
We made a pretty crap
It's-
boat.
It's like the water.
Do you think
It
that'll flow?
takes you a good 2 hours to assemble the materials, get it into a design that you're happy with, and then tie it together. A couple of false starts when you sort of push it out into the water, which is very difficult, getting to the sort of edge of it, and you see one side beginning to sink, and you go, oh, no, back. You have to get different sizes of logs, different ages of how dry the wood is, because different buoyancies, but you do eventually come up with a serviceable raft.
That looks freaking amazing.
It looks passable.
Let's go.
All right, let's
Oh my god.
let's carefully place her on the raft, and then
Swim?
we'll.
We can swim, but...
How big is the raft? Is the raft big enough for?
With those checks, you probably managed to make the effective equivalent of a 5-foot square. So the 3 of you could get on it, but it risks sinking.
Is this going to be Titanic all over again?
Yeah.
Aubrey just slowly off the side.
But now that Blue has mentioned it, you think that if you were swimming, you wouldn't need as much buoyancy on the thing. It would help you to swim effectively whilst you pushed
That's
your
true.
cargo across.
Will you be alright? Because I'll be honest, frankly nervous about swimming once again in chainmail.
That's okay.
Good, alright.
I'm very light.
You are surprisingly buoyant. Right, so I'm going to get on the raft
Yeah.
with Aubrey Corpse
Yeah.
and
AC.
That's not. That's a better nickname. I like that one.
With AC. I'm going to write that down.
good old AC and me are going to be on the raft, and Blue's going to swim.
It's an ex-barbarian. Monty Python. Never mind.
I got it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Perfect. And you push the raft out. Okay. So you're going to be swimming. So Blue, I'd like to make an athletics check again.
Sweet.
Oh, come on.
And Theron, make
What
an
is wrong
athletics
with
check
you?
as well, trying to sort of propel this thing
Better
forward.
dice.
11.
Oh my god.
13.
11 and 13. Okay, no, you do manage it. You do manage to just about push it. There's a couple of moments where you feel things starting to like tilt, and Aubrey starts the thing that you just sort of manage to push it to the other side or transfer your weight to
Weekend
the
at
other corner.
Bernie's slice.
Or
Exactly.
if we had rolled low.
Blue, stop bleeding! But you do manage to make it across to the bank.
Sweet.
Once you get to about halfway, you start to be able to use the tree that's in the water, not to climb on top of it. You realise quite quickly that it's sort of floating on the surface and the branches towards the edges are not as stable as you would like, but you can use it to almost sort of pull yourselves like a sort of rope across the water and pull the raft round, and you eventually make your way to the other bank. Both make perception checks for me while you get to the other bank.
14.
Please get rid of that red dice.
14.
It's perfect.
Would you-
14.
No, it's not.
7.
14. You pull up to the bank. You pull up to the bank. There's a moment when it's just something is strange. Not in a sort of dangerous way, but in a you find yourself looking back, and the bank it feels further away than it would have been for the amount of movement you brought yourselves across the lake. The gap is now wider. It looks 800, 1,000 feet now, not 400. The space has dematerialized slightly and expanded. And as you get to the bank, certainly the bank itself seems a little steeper and a little bigger, and the island now, looking around, now that you've clocked it, it looks slightly bigger than you were expecting. There's either some sort of optical illusion going on, or the island seems to have expanded.
This is weird.
I don't think this is natural. We could be dealing with magic. Whatever is here, I don't know what it could be. Just stay alert. Okay, alright.
You're very sleep deprived at this point.
I'm knackered.
I'm so awake.
I'd love to see Blue with the alert feed. That would be fantastic. Everything is amazing and I watch it all.
Nice.
Okay, so you managed to make your way to the bank. How would you like to proceed?
I'll go first on the ground, given, heavy armor and shield, and
I'll carry Orbo.
AC.
AC.
Say DC or something. Dead Aubrey. DAC.
Dead Aubrey corpse.
Yes.
Maybe we should stop this joke,
I think it's hilarious.
I love it.
Okay.
It's hilarious, you bastards. Alright, yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
Onto this thing heading towards
Making
this.
your way up the bank. And
Yeah, towards
onto the
this
island.
thing, this hut of sorts.
Okay, great. So, as because you went sort of the way with the tree, you're the other side of the island effectively. You're by where the tree has fallen, that side of it, the hut on the other island, because you chose to take the shorter path, which is fine. You start to make your way up the bank, And the scene in front of you, it's almost like as you blink, there's a shift. And everything is a little brighter. And the swamp itself certainly between the night and the trees and the canopies, there was always this sort of eternal shade, this darkness across it, lots of shadows from the leaves and the canopies above. And now it feels less of a sort of swamp and more of a forest. And certainly when you look behind you, stretching behind you, you appear to be in a forest, and a forest that's big enough so that looking behind you, you cannot see anything but forest. It goes on beyond the horizon. Just trees, almost like a sort of summer's forest, oak trees, pine trees.
We can't see back the way we've came.
You can't see Blue. Blue, when you see Theren sort of walking up the hill, going first, sort of sword and shield ready, keeping himself alert, and he crests the hill, and you don't see anything else.
Blue?
Blue?
Theren! I remembered your name this time by accident.
You don't hear each other.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
You split the party, you fools.
I still got you. It's all good. Improv weapon.
I'm gonna turn around,
Oh no!
pick up a stick from the ground and throw it as far as I can behind me.
Okay. You throw it. And there's almost like a sort of breeze as it hits a certain point in the air, and it goes and just almost seems to become mist and vanish. Just out. And now that you look for it, actually there you can see just almost faintly a line in the grass, maybe about 5-6 feet behind where you were. It's difficult to pick up on. It's not really a raised segment, it's just how the light is slightly different.
Blue, if you can hear me, it's some sort of illusion.
You can't hear you. You can't hear me.
Terence, if you can hear me, help! I'm hungry.
Okay, I want to go to where the stick just fizzled out.
Yeah.
Take the blunt end of one of my javelins and just slowly poke it towards.
As you poke it through, again, you feel that disturbance in the air, that slight shimmer like a curtain, an invisible curtain has been sort of buffeted by the wind. And the tip of the javelin just begins to, again, just...
Not tip, other edge.
Other edge, sorry, wrong edge. The end of that, it just sort of, you see this mist as it sort of disappears into the wind, like the wind is blowing it off as you push it in.
Okay, I want to withdraw it and see if there's any sort of damage.
It comes back, and no, there doesn't seem to be any damage.
I just keep running forwards.
Yeah? Okay, you come forward. As you're stood there, almost instantaneously, Blue emerges and just thumps into you. And the two of you just go fumbling over into the grass.
Can I try and dodge it?
Make a dexterity check.
Oh, come on.
8.
8, thwack, he gets straight into you, just takes you out. AC goes flying.
I mean, it's good to see you, but maybe with a bit more caution next time, alright?
So, I was running forwards.
Yes.
And then I hit you.
Yes.
And you were facing towards me.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Turn around.
Every now and then I feel a little bit...
No, look behind you.
Okay, I'll pick up AC and then I'll turn around.
Okay. And again, you see the same thing, this forest, but a warm, you can feel the breeze brushing against your skin. It's pleasant. It's not, there's no sense of stagnant water. The smell is gone. It's a nicer, just more friendly, less oppressive environment.
Where the footick are we?
This must be what's at the centre of the swamp. I imagine is, it's all some sort of illusion. It must be magic. It has to be. What is back the way we originally headed before we turned around and did this whole thing with the thing?
So,
Multiple Brothers-esque type.
In front of you, the trees stop the vision too much. You can probably see about 150, 200 feet in front of you before just trunks get in the way and you can't see anything any further. But there doesn't appear to be anything immediately visible.
So, we tried going forwards.
Well, I think we just have to keep going forwards.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Can I
Carry us down.
get a... Yep. Can I get a stick and just jam it into the ground? Just, I often got lost as a kid.
That's actually really good thinking, Blue. Well done.
Dad always told me,
In it goes. You've got yourself a little marker. Yeah.
In the ground.
stick in the ground.
Okay, now that's done.
It's also my nickname for some obscure reason. Let's go!
Stick
we
it
go.
around. You make your way forward. How would you like to proceed? Are you just walking normally? Are you trying to be stealthy? Are you trying to be observant? What are you just walking?
I would say somewhere between normally and observant. Me in front, kind of just checking for anything. That maybe
Perception check, Simon. You can see as you move forward.
15.
15.
God, I need to stop using
Yeah,
this one.
that's like several sixes in a row.
I mean, of course, the dice don't work like that, but sure.
Yeah.
This is the one you got me for my birthday. Do you want to use that?
No.
It's your dice. I can't use that. It's a birthday dice. Okay, what did you get, sorry?
15. You got 15.
Yes, thank you.
15. Okay, you start making your way forward. Maybe 100, 150 feet as you're going through this forest. And again, the further you go, you can hear bird song. You can feel that warm breeze, the scent of various saps and flowers. It's an enjoyable place to be. In the background, you hear just every now and then as the wind pushes through, the sound of bees in the trees floating around the flowers, pollinating themselves. You hear just the occasional scratch and like sound from the forest in the way that forests do, the trees hitting against each other. That's not that sound at all. That's a terrifying sound. That's like rats in your floorboards sort of sound.
What other sounds?
And eventually, you're the first to spot it actually. Once you've got about 200 feet, there is something in the distance, some sort of large structure. You're not sure what it is, but it's certainly bigger than anything behind you. You can't quite get your eyes on it. But about sort of 60 feet to your right, you look, sat on its hindquarters, just watching you, just nonchalantly, just sort of like playing with something in its tooth, is a bear. Probably about sat down, maybe sort of 6-7 feet tall still, just sort of watching, sort of picking in his teeth, sort of slumps, is looking around.
We've had bad experience with these guys,
Yes.
but...
This one doesn't seem hostile.
No. Plan?
I would say the plan is I think it's a bear. Surely avoidance is the best policy.
Now, as you stand there talking to it, it sort of lifts itself up and sort of just starts scratching itself on a tree next to it. You hear that ripping noise of the bark being sort of taken off it, and it sort of looks at you and just turns away and plods and starts moving forwards towards the direction you were heading.
I say we follow it.
I think that actually might be the best idea.
This place is weird.
This place is weird.
And we've got nothing else to go on.
And I'm pretty sure normally a bear would just, well, at least do some sort of display of territory.
I haven't seen one pick its teeth before.
Yeah, that... Granted, this is the second bear I've seen, but still. Yes, let's follow it.
Wonderful. And you just keep making your way forward.
Excuse me.
I don't know if it speaks common.
Okay.
And you keep making your way forward. Another 100, 150 feet. The bear just plodding its way. Again, every now and then it just stops to sort of like rub itself or smell something or sharpen its claws, but it just keeps its leisurely movement.
Imagining every time it stops, just Theren and Blue go.
Yeah. Exactly, just keeping a distance. At one point, its attention is distracted momentarily by a bee that flies past it, and you see it watching as it drifts off, and then just sort of forgets it and moves on and keeps moving forward. And eventually, you find yourselves at the base of possibly the largest tree you've ever seen. Rising probably 200 feet into the air and at least 30, 40 feet in diameter. Actually, as you look at it, it's half a tree. It's like the trunk goes up, branches start to come out of it, but the branches twist round and sort of almost fold back in on the top of it, and they come out and come round, and the top of the tree is vanished. It's essentially like almost like the stump has grown from thousands of smaller branches and twisted up and round and in and curved round. And as you approach it, you see that the front of it has almost grown into a huge throne, as you can see just the twigs, they spread out in all directions on the ground. They're almost like roots as they come up and where this sort of seat is. And the back and handles, these beautiful flowers and carvings spread all along the sides of them. This huge chair. And sat 20, 25 feet tall in the chair, just watching you approach, is the largest, squattest man you have ever seen. Sat down, even still 15 feet tall, 10 feet wide, muscles and with sort of almost Gaelic runes sort of tattooed up one arm, incredibly sharp fingernails, and actually now that you look at his form, his feet are not human feet, they're actually bear claws sort of on his legs, and coming up this huge wild, best way I can describe it, it's like a Hagrid style big brown bushy beard that goes down to his stomach and comes all around, huge brown hair that sort of comes around him, and a crown of holly and leaves as he sort of watches you come, and you notice his eyes, huge eyes, but just pupilless in gold as they watch you approaching. And the bear, having got there, sort of almost seems to nod. The man sort of beckons it up, it sort of approaches, sits down on its hind legs, and he sort of just, with like one finger just down the back of this 10-foot tall bear, just coming down it, strokes it, sort of gets something out of this huge fur coat. You can see just various furs all stitched together, beautiful feathers on the hem of it, and pulls out a small vial of some sort of thick golden substance and pours it to this bear, and you again get that sweet smell of honey as he just sort of drops it in. The bear feeds for a couple of seconds and then just sort of wanders off and sort of just sits to the side watching everything.
Okay, first thing I would like to do is put my sword away and just kind of strap my shield over my back where I normally have it whenever I'm just wandering around, and just kind of keep my hands out, just some sort of sign of peaceful intent to this being.
Yeah. So how close would you like to get?
I would like to get close enough that I can kind of address him if I raise my voice enough, but not like shouting.
Yeah.
So
It's a difficult thing because he's so tall, the whole sense of like scale is completely out. And he's sat 15 feet tall in his chair. If you were to do it in a normal sort of like, say I was sat here and you're at the end of the table, for instance, it would be a reasonable sort of distance. You scale it up and suddenly you've got maybe 45, 50 feet between you, which is probably about the right sort of level, unless you tell me otherwise, that sort of level. You sort of approach him peacefully, and as you approach, he sort of, with his arms folded, just leans forward, this huge figure looking at you, and this voice that booms out, this sort of deep voice, just sort of looks at you and goes, "I have not had visitors in a very long time. Who are you?
Forgive our intrusion. We came upon your haven by accident. My friend and we have just lost a very dear companion of ours. We were, forgive me, to be honest, I don't know what we're doing. I think we're just trying to find anything that might be able to help. Coming across you was entirely an accident. We mean you no harm.
There is no other way to find me than by accident. Everyone who finds us by accident. That is not what I asked, but you have given me the answer I asked for. You come out of desperation. Tell me why.
Our friend has died, and she was...
Come forward.
Okay.
He kind of beckons you forward.
Forgive me, this is...
Oh my god!
Black.
I don't do that.
Oh my god!
I lay her down gently at his feet.
That is Aubrey Amblecrown of Applebury. This is Blue. I'm Theren ab Alaric. We mean you no harm.
So,
We're just...
That I would believe. I fear nobody. You do not need to wish me pleasantries. I accept your presence here. Now, how did she fall?
crocodile.
We fought a great... Yes, crocodile-like beasts.
Tail old as time itself.
And during the combat, it pulled her under, and we couldn't reach her in time.
Troubling.
Can you help? Would you help?
That is a better question. Tell me, who are you, strange dragon folk?
People keep calling me a dragon. Don't quite understand that. My name's Blue. I come from Millis. I like sunsets and music and magic. And I
That is enough.
Okay.
I know not where you speak of, Miss Melis, but I do recognize your dragon folk before. Do not test me. Just again, you hear this rumbling noise. And you? I see. I think I see it now. I sensed 4 approaching, and I think I understand now. You walk with someone else. Who are you?
My name is Theren. I'm a part of the Order of the Blazing Sun. There is just the 3 of us, and forgive me, there is no way of saying this without sounding insane. What you're sensing, the god Perith, she talks to me.
Perhaps it is not a presence that I usually come across in my domain, but it is one. You say she is with you, but this presence is faint, is it not? I almost didn't detect it.
Well,
She's playing hard to get.
we're not quite agreeing at the moment.
And you are here. You don't need to tell me these things. Everybody that finds me for a reason, and yours is desperation. You've told me that much already. This other, why has she not helped? Why do you come to me?
Either she can't, or she refuses to, and maybe it's punishment. I gave the order to hold and wait for the serpent to surface when it dragged my ally under the water. Her death is... It's on my shoulders.
No.
And maybe that is why my god has chosen to abandon me.
Maybe. Gods, they are funny things. They are of this world and not. They don't understand things as entities like myself do.
Forgive me. May I ask, what do we call you? What are you?
Ah. Right, I see the man has finally surfaced, and he sits back and leans into his chair, and you can see again his huge form just leaning back. I don't think my true name would give you any understanding, so this common tongue of yours, you may call me the Bear King. That'll do. It's a name that people have used that I quite enjoy.
In our society, we normally address a king as Your Majesty.
You may.
Right, okay. Good to know that that's fine. Your Majesty, is there anything you might be able to do? You've said frequently that people come to you out of desperation.
They come to us all out of desperation, but you found me. Not many come to me, and that is what I can't put my finger on. We Fae are tricky things, according to some, but...
sorry.
Yeah?
DM, how much knowledge of the Fae?
That sounds like a Nietzsche check that you can both make for me.
Oh my god.
That is 11.
Oh, no.
Sam, what are you doing? My heart rate's already up.
Use this from now
Use that
on.
dice.
Didn't I read about you in stories?
Sorry, Theren, what did you get?
Blue can't read. 11.
11.
Picture books.
You know, you would know a little bit about the Fae.
I'm assuming the order doesn't smile on
It
them.
doesn't like very much, no. It's very much a sequence of demons, devils, fae, and undead, horrible things that they warn you about. But you don't really know too much of the specifics. You, perhaps the odd story of they being corrupting influences and tricksters, but nothing really, just warnings.
Great, so Theren's
Blue,
turn
so what did
monologue
you
is...
get, Blue?
Natural 20.
Natural 20. So, again, in Blue's spectacular roundabout fashion of knowing things, it comes to you through stories again, through tales and childhood stories. You know the Fae very well. You've heard of maybe a few of the Fae, stories of the Moonlit King and of the Queen of Witches and these powerful Fae creatures that exist in another world, this magical Feywild that you've heard stories of, and they come and strike bargains and kidnap, but also help, and they're tricksy things. They like to mess with people in stories. Every story you've heard of them normally comes with a cautionary tale, things that can go well but at a price, or things that are demanded are met with things that perhaps weren't what the person was asking for. Just childhood tales.
Things can get a little grim.
Exactly.
Awful.
God.
Leave.
I love it. Love it. So, yes, you have both heard of them to an extent. And actually, with the natural 20, I'll give you a little bit more. You may have heard the odd tale about, maybe not the Bear King, but certainly in your native tongue, the king of the forest, where the bears go, and the tales of the bees that produce the sweetest honey, that make the sweetest meads, and this king that rules over it all. You might have heard of that. I'll give you that with a natural 20.
Wow.
You're a Fae.
And you were a half-elf. We're probably distantly connected.
Well, I only know half my parentage, so it's possible. Does that... We're not on the Beggars'.Bowl anymore, then, are we?
I don't know where this Beggars'.Bowl that you speak of is, but I feel a connection to your world that I have not felt in some time.
Well,
And there is normally a reason for it, something happening.
Well, it's a circular island with mountains all around it, bit of a shithole. We've landed there by accident. Well, not by accident. It's a really long story.
Yeah, that is not what I'm interested in. I am
Great.
interested in why you are here. Bridges do not appear from nothing.
There was a massive lightning bolt, wasn't there?
Yes, that's right. There was a lightning storm on the island, and the largest lightning bolt I've ever seen landed in this swamp.
Lightning.
Yes, our friend, she had some strange ability with lightning, some almost like an affinity towards it. It was difficult to understand.
She's a stormy lady.
And
I've known several stormy characters in my time. Lightning is never to be trusted, but this intrigues me. I wonder.
Do you think you could help? Going back to what we said earlier?
she's been dead. It must be about 6-7 hours now.
He stands up from his chair. Again, he's huge, 25 foot tall, 15 feet wide, this round individual as he starts walking towards you, this huge fur coat. And again, just this sense of scale starts shifting, because as he approaches, he doesn't seem to really get any closer, but he shrinks. And as he gets further away from the tree, the roots start moving out of the tree as they sort of follow his footprints, just sliding around and cracking through the ground. By the time he gets to you, he's still a large, imposing figure, 7.5 feet tall, but certainly now within the same level of scale. And he just sort of goes past you, and again, this otherworldly sense of power exuding from him as he walks past, as he kneels down by Aubrey. And again, the roots just flowing past his knees and round his legs, and just slowly start sort of crunching and creeping round Aubrey's form as flowers start to grow, and she starts to be covered in sort of vegetation and roots until the point where you can see her face still, but everything else is sort of cocooned under. And he briefly puts a hand over her face and just sort of looks up. I agree to take her.
What?
Your Majesty, we didn't... What do you mean, take her?
You bring her to my realm. This is not what you intended.
We were looking for someone who could help bring her back.
Bring her back. Yes, I knew you wanted to bring her back, but this is... He says, stands up again. Yes, I can help, but here, on the edges of my realm, the edges of my plane, where you have brought me to, or whatever event this is has brought me to, my powers here are strange. It will take me some time, but I can bring her back.
Yes.
But you can help me too. I think that's fair, no?
What is it you need?
2 things. A long time ago, something was taken from me that I sense is close, on the other side of this portal, whatever brought you here. It is a necklace given to me by a long, long friend. Find the necklace, platinum leaves, and bring it to me, and I will bring her back. That is what I ask from you, Dragon Man.
Okay.
What to ask from two people, not one. I sense from you conflict and be careful of things that promise you power but choose to help you when they need help. He sort of pulls his belt around, and you can see he has a beautiful gleaming, a sheath, but not a sort of nothing covering the blade, just a sort of silver blade down one side, and on the other a maul, what appears to be a warhammer, but even in his shrunken form, this thing still has a head, sort of this big, this huge thing of metal just sort of resting around. But he takes the sword, sort of draws it, sort of flicks it around and looks at it, and again you see this beautiful silver sword with almost, and you probably recognize it as sort of almost elven design, but even more strange and otherworldly, this sort of vine and leaves creeping up it and down the shaft. This beautiful thing. And he sort of holds it out and hands it to you and says, "Take this. And when you find the necklace, use it to take my revenge on the person that now holds it. I will not explain to you the reason why I ask this, because your mind would not comprehend the tale, the eons of pain that this person inflicted upon me and my family. But know that whoever holds this item now, I sense evil, I sense anger, and I sense hunger that will consume not just the things that this creature finds, but itself. It is well time that this person was stopped and my necklace is returned to me. That is what I ask from you."
I kind of take the blade and I kind of look at it for a minute and inspect it.
Yeah.
This is the finest sword I've ever seen. I presume it is the finest sword I've ever seen.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. There's a few things that sort of resemble it. It feels like the whole thing is made from either silver or platinum. You're not sure, but it is beautifully wrought. A long sword. Again, not a dissimilar style to the one you've got. It is a blade for slashing, but it is the guard is much more elaborate. The theme of leaves and vines, and you can see all through the pommel. Actually, not just flowers and vines, but bees all flowing and sort of just not moving, but they all look like they are just in flight and dancing and communicating and all down this blade. And in the center of the pommel is a beautiful emerald, probably the size of about maybe that, just in the hilt on either side. It is a beautiful sword and light as well. You've never felt no, you probably felt one blade as finely crafted, and that was probably that of your father's when he took his post and was handed the ceremonial blade down to him. But this thing is beautiful.
Does it have a name?
It does, but it is not your name.
Can we take guesses?
Yeah,
You must understand, we Fae, we exist. We do not die. Names, they do die. They are forgotten. Eventually all names are outgrown, and it is high time that this blade took another. But you'll find the name. It will come in time.
Gary.
Forgive me, I put the blade over my back. I'm all too aware that you have just offered me a weapon after telling me to be wary of those offering power.
Very good. Always be wary of people offering you power. But remember that you came to me asking first. And I gave you my promise before I asked for yours. Not the other way round. May that be important to you should you wish it to be.
May I ask one final thing of you, Your Majesty? We have barely slept, and this has been a very, very long day. Before we go on this journey for you, would you allow my companion and I to rest here for a time?
That I would.
Will
I will
our
watch
friend's
over you.
body be alright?
As long as it is here, she is fine. The realm, my realm, it is eternal. She will not age here. She will not leave us. But the storm you sense in her, I feel it as well, and I'm not sure even my realm and my power was needed to keep this one down.
Thank you for your assistance.
He nods. You may have the use of my goods as long as you are here. Sleep well. You will be well sought. You are safe here.
Can we talk in the morning before we leave for our quest? Or will you be gone?
I will be gone.
Okay, I've got some questions, if that's okay.
He looks at you.
As Blue is asking, I'm just gonna examine the blade.
That's awesome. This person, this evil person who stole your necklace, do you have any idea of what they might look like, or what they might be? Just to give us some clues. The place we come from is massive.
They are close.
Very close.
Does that say within a day of traveling?
I do not know.
Forgive me, Your
Okay.
Majesty, we're on somewhat of a time constraint.
Yeah.
And
We need food for our
don't
friends.
Ask him if he has any.
It's good
you
for
can
honey.
and then understand time is a concept that is not the same here, but if you... They are close by, the other side of whichever portal brought you here, but the item that you are looking for went missing eons ago. Whoever took it then may likely have no resemblance to who has it now. I cannot help you.
Okay. Second question. You seem to have some bear friends. Could we borrow one to help us? They seem, pretty cool. It was like,
They are the toughest and most fearsome allies you may ever have. You have not earned that right.
right, okay.
If I may, our ship that was transporting us was forced to dock here on this island outside of your realm. We, the three of us, were sent into this island to find supplies or anything that could help, if it's not too much of us to ask, would you have anything that might be able to assist us getting back onto the open seas?
I do not know of this ship. I do not know of the goods that you may find at the other side of this portal. I cannot give you any help. It will not return with you as you return to your realm, but there is perhaps one other thing that I could tell you. This necklace, as you look for it, there is one other being I sense, not just the person with the necklace, but another. They have a similar pull that you do, my elven friend, elven blood. Find them. I always have faith that elves will answer the call. Perhaps they may assist.
Sounds like a dead end to me.
Now,
Actually, I'm strangely confident hearing that there's an elf.
he sort of starts walking back, just almost dismissing you, and goes back to sit in his chair. And again, this huge form starts to now boom over you again. And his voice echoes out, and he says, "You may sleep now. Rest. Be well. And good luck. May we meet again."
Thank you.
Thank you.
He nods, and then just brings
No
his
more
finger out
questions. No more questions. No
and
more
just
Ursa.
clicks. And there's you just feel yourself just not even drop to sleep, but there's just a feeling of content and warmth and happiness as you just disappear and just immediately slumber.
I just want to imagine
Sleep now.
Theren, who really wanted to ask Blue something at that moment, going, "Blue, how do you feel?"
And you, but just fall asleep. You may have a long rest.
Yay!
Cut to that. My descriptive ability is not great.
I was going to say, I
That's
noticed
kind
it
of
over the
the-
image.
that's
Incredible.
nice.
I was like, holy
That's really
shit. Yeah, amazing. Yeah. But
And you sleep blissfully. You wake to, again, that smell of swamp, the stagnant air, the early morning sun sort of drifting in as the sun begins to sort of rise. You find yourselves in the middle of this island by the tree stump in the middle of this island. And
Outside of the realm.
back on the island where you said, but again, this stump now, it looked huge at the time, but now tiny in comparison to the thing that you found, and the wooden hut the other side of the island, resting there. Yeah. Still with the blade. Actually, do you want to come in your character sheet quickly? Let me just quickly.
oh, so exciting.
I didn't get anything. You got us.
Can I get a bear? No. That's what you tried to do.
I'm not too sure having a gift from a fae is a particularly good thing.
Intelligence of 6 sounds brilliant to me.
Cool sword! Except it's Theren, probably 18-year-old kid going on, "It is a cool sword!"
Have you seen how sharp it is? Guys, look
It's
at
like silver.
look how many leaves are on it. Whoa.
Also, he is missing elven heritage.
Sounds like a dead end this episode, so.
So,
Cool.
you wake up.
Sweet.
What would you like to do?
Check out that hut.
I think we have to. Before we do, I wanted to ask: Are you all right with this? No, I don't know what you know of the Fae, but
Oh yeah, I know so much about this. I probably should have told you earlier. Okay, so I've read so many picture books on this kind of shit.
right. For a second, there I was worried. Can you read? Never mind. It's not important.
Okay, so I go through kind of what you've told me, my views on Fae. They're kind of tricky. Some are good, some are bad. The one we met, the closest thing I remember is like King of the Forest because the bees and the really badass looking honey.
You see, the Order just claims that the Fae are evil.
The stories I've read, good, evil, all in between.
But the point is,
But tricksy.
I don't think we're going to get Aubrey back without something, and I wanted to ask you, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
Alright.
I mean,
I've
got a lot else going on, and
What
Aubrey was kind of cool, and she fought with us, and ate with us, and some other symbolic stuff, I guess, and, that means something. And plus, she was going to teach me how to use bigger weapons, eventually. I need to persuade her a bit. She was throwing cheese overboard. I think she's a little unstable, but she was a little unstable.
Well, if this doesn't work out...
Do stop me if I'm babbling.
It's fine. I can teach you how to do that,
You can use great axes?
The Order trains us in use of all weapons. But
I mean, I still want to save Aubrey.
yes, obviously
Having one teacher's good.
Okay, as long as we're in one mind.
Yeah.
Where do we start?
That hut?
It's a good enough idea.
Yeah.
We head towards the hut.
Okay, you head towards the hut. It's about
A-grade roleplay.
200 feet over to the hut, and you approach, and again, you see signs that it has been lived in, or is lived in. It's a strange assortment as you get in. There seems to be a sort of campfire, but one that looks... Actually, give me a perception check and see what you know. See what you can gather. You can do this as well, Blue, as you approach.
What is this? Oh, metal one, not blue.
Perception.
7, sorry.
And 15.
15. Okay, 7. You are looking for signs of danger and you're not really paying attention so much. Blue, the one thing you see is campsite. Ooh, it's cold. Nobody's been cooking. Doesn't look like anyone's been there recently, but you can see just hanging up random bits and pieces as like various boxes have been set up around this fire. But it all looks decayed and mouldy and not very well kept. You can see a rug leading to the inside of this hut, but it's all damp and mossy and moulded, and hanging on strings from the doorway of this hut are what you can see to be bones on chimes, effectively little wind chimes, but just made of knuckles and other bits of small animals. And there's one by the door that looks much more humanoid for your liking. It's not a very nice look.
I draw question mark.
Well, your new blade, yeah. This blade.
Also affectionately known as question marks.
You have no clue.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks creepy. Be wary.
We approach.
Hello? Is anybody in there?
Knocks in. No reply. Sort of this ramshackle door is open. You sort of peer in, and again, it's more of the same. This container. It looks like a lived-in area. You can see like a sort of camp cot has been risen, but again, it's almost like furs instead of bed linen. But unlike the furs you just saw on Bear King, these almost look like they've been ripped off animals, and the place is still sticky. And again, more of these bones. There's a pile of rotting flesh and bones in the corner of one of the sides. If you want to look for anything particular, investigation checks if you want to go through things.
Evidence of who used to live here.
Would be an investigation check.
I will assist.
You may. So roll with advantage.
Ooh. Investigation. 15.
15. The only thing you can glean is that whatever lived here certainly has animalistic traits, isn't particularly civilized. The way that things have been ripped and eaten, the bones all have shoe marks on them that have all been stripped, almost with like nails that have been dragged down them. Just horrible.
The Bear King said that the being that has his necklace was very close to the portal. And given his, shall we say, affinity and relationship towards nature, this strikes me as the exact opposite. We might be at this thing's home. It's a reach, but...
Yeah, I think you might be right. But on that, if it is a dangerous thing, and it is evil, I mean, this is no comment on your martial abilities, but maybe we need help. And maybe that elven person who I've previously dismissed as being a loose end might be a good move. Because Aubrey was kind of the powerhouse of this group, no offence.
None taken. There's a reason I carry a shield.
Yep, there's a reason I hide behind both of you.
Yep.
So maybe we should, find that person.
Would it be a waste of time to even search the area, see if there is signs of this necklace? I mean, we have to kill whoever it was that wronged the Bear King. That was part of the arrangement.
Yep.
But if we can find a necklace, then at least that's done.
Okay.
I want to look around the house for any signs of this platinum necklace.
Perfect, right. Another investigation check, and with advantage. Now, but you're looking specifically
That one.
for the necklace.
15. Both 15.
Wow.
Both 15s. Okay, you do not find a necklace, unfortunately, but you do find a couple other bits and pieces between various bones and discarded, in some places, entrails and horrible bits and pieces. You see a couple of things. You find a little bag hidden under some furs, 2 vials of potion. One that you recognise to be a healing potion, but a second one is a viscous green consistency, and you're not sure what it is. You also find, just in terms of odds and ends, 10 gems hidden around in the floor and in the, just like in the mud, under bones, in cloth, like just random places scattered around, almost as if whoever lives in this thing has no interest in them as being valuable. But you recognise some moonstones, citrine, quartz, zircon, jasper, bits that possibly would sell for 50 gold each. Decently valuable things. You find 10 of them.
Find anything?
Actually, yes. There's some gems here, at least 10 of them, which I reckon we could at least flog for maybe about 50 gold apiece. Moonstone, quartz, things like that.
Ooh. If not for money, then trade with the ogres. They like shiny things.
They do like shiny things. There's this potion here that looks like a healing one.
Ooh.
There's this one that looks disgusting. I reckon that's probably poison. Don't touch it. And what was the first thing? It's just a bag, isn't it?
That was within.
That was in the bag.
Exactly.
That's all in
the
this
last
bag.
thing you find with the 15 is once you start going in, and it's you have to catch yourself, because when you start walking around you start disturbing it, but certainly outside you see footprints of whatever this creature is, and they are large feet that almost seem to pierce into the ground at the front. It's like toes are digging into the ground. But you can see them sort of wandering off into various locations, but it's difficult to know where they've gone.
We need to find this elf.
Yeah, we need help.
Yeah, we need to find this
We
elf.
need help. Shall I look after all those cool things?
Yes, there you go. Go take the cool things.
Thank you.
Right, okay. Let's go find the elf.
Okay. Where
do we
do we
start?
go?
Did he say anything about where we could find the elf?
He had no geographical knowledge of where we are. He was just like, everything's close.
It's close, yes.
Maybe there's a street called the Close.
Didn't he say something about the elf potentially being near this thing that we're looking for? Did I make that up? Did that?
He said that it was near the other end of the portal.
He was so vague.
Blue is very accurate on
I'm
the.
not sure I trust the geographical knowledge of someone that's 25 foot tall.
I mean, they can see pretty. Yeah.
Blue, I must say, your vocabulary has
It's amazing.
improved so much. lately.
I'm a bard. I can.
Flourishes.
I am very charismatic.
That you are.
Out of 20, one would say I am 19.
One would say you're more charismatic than me.
Yes. I would say that. Anyway, okay, which way? Should we just pick a direction? Maybe go for one of the other tribes and hope for the best? Or...
He said close. Now, that can't have been too wrong. What? What are you thinking?
If this person, I almost said she, but we don't know that, is elven, do you think they'd be more closer to, like, swampiness or forestiness?
Forest, definitely.
Yeah,
Yes.
Cat people territory.
Well, good thing we've got shinies.
Cats like shiny things?
Don't they just like things?
That's true. They also like pushing things off things. And feet, apparently.
I have no idea where to even start.
Your Instagram post today.
Oh, right, yeah. That's
You
so
are
meta.
the mad cat lady here.
So meta. It's like, what?
Sorry, I forgot we were being filmed. Okay, folks, go to Instagram and follow Fiona.
Do not do that.
Okay.
You should be watching this.
Should we go to the forest?
I think that's only the best option. I don't know what else to do.
Did the ogres... The ogres don't like the tabaxi.
That's right.
So let's make sure we don't say we're in league with the ogres or anything.
I wasn't... Okay, good. Good thinking, Blue. Top-notch strategizing.
I'm good with people,
Wonderful.
not with anything else. Let's go!
So, yeah,
You make your way towards where you think the forest is. Now, you're in the middle of the island. Which way is the forest? And while the party sees if they've taken notes on which way everything is, and then you maybe have, that looks like notes. Go on.
Drawn it
I don't wanna
somewhere.
talk Yes, I actually do know.
See, I didn't.
Oh, but
How did that happen, in fact? I don't know.
That's why you're dead.
Yeah. Whoops.
Okay, so we knew where the landscape was, but we didn't know where each one was. But the ogres told us that the cat people lived in the trees.
Yeah,
That
and
was it.
we are in the centre.
So we're going...
Is there any sign of the sun and sky?
If you want to try and get your bearings, that would be a survival check.
Come on, boys.
And then should we have a break? Did you say?
Yeah.
Natural 20.
Right.
I also just...
You can just G. You are walking Garmins. You are like that way. You see the sun. You're
North.
It's because you don't have AC anymore. You're like,
I
thank
know.
God. Oh, she was holding us back.
and you make your way. We will take a break there as we get the next bit set up. So yeah, back in a sec.
Thank you, Ryan.
Hey.
Oh, I've got do 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 do. I imagine.
Hey!
And then just
I'm
really
so
behind.
keeping that in the
Yeah.
cut.
Theren's
That was an
going,
amazing
"Shut
rendition.
up."
Welcome
Yeah,
back. Welcome back, everybody.
Oh, whoops.
Right, so we are going to dive straight into what I assume, now that you don't have AC with you, is...
I'm going now. I was like, I'm ready here for this.
Now that you don't have AC's body, now waking up, you do realise that she's not with you, if we hadn't clarified that before.
You just fucking
The
left her
raft
on the island.
On the side of
Should be alright.
the raft is sort of waiting
She
there.
can't die again.
And, in the lake, and you can make your way back to the other side with your raft. So, which direction are you going in?
Southwest.
Southwest.
Yes.
Okie dokie.
Which should be easy to find, given our amazing rolls at the end there.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give
You're
you that.
one
Natural
with the
20.
compass of the land.
Okay, yeah, you start to make your way over. So, it takes you probably about an hour and a half You start climbing out of this sort of basin that you were in. As you start to, the ground is sort of reclaimed, you're moving slightly away from the swampy territory that you arrived on the island with. It's still horrible and it's still very wet underfoot, but you now can start to find sort of relatively firm grip by walking from tree to tree and from sort of grassy patches. And within about an hour, actually, as you start to get to this corner of the island, the ground begins to firm up considerably. It's more random puddles than swamp, which is good. Trees start to rise taller and straighter as well than before. The swamp trees very thick, wide canopies. These trees in the forest are now very tall and starting to come up more like pine trees as you make your way. Now, who is helming and who's leading the perception check? Unless you want to both make perception checks, you're very welcome to.
Should we both do it?
Yeah. Okay, make them for me.
1. Yeah.
Good job.
14.
14.
6.
Okay. So, you start to make your way towards the higher ground, and it's Theren who spots it first. The first thing that draws your
Yeah.
you got there?
You got
Sorry,
the
the dice has spun around.
Yeah,
Sorry, my bad. Blue, you spot it first. Hanging almost from the trees, maybe 200, 300 feet in front, is what appears to be a small village in the trees. Actually physically attached to the sides of the trunks in a treehouse style canopy with small bridges that aren't really bridges. Now you look at them, they just appear to be ropes kind of slung from one tree to another. These almost weird shaped homes that almost look like they need to be climbed into from the sides or from underneath or from weird directions. But this whole village that spans maybe 15, 20 trees, you don't get too much closer though. With your perception check, you do start to notice activity. And looking down in front of you towards the area, let's see what you see. So you see, it's difficult to tell, but maybe sort of six to eight figures moving around the camp. Moving from the trees, climbing up and down the trees, hanging from the ropes and sort of climbing from one to the other, on the ground, lighting fires, just generally sharpening sticks and going about daily activities effectively. You see these feline shapes moving around, again, sort of standing on 2 feet on some occasions and prowling and climbing on all four, sort of weird hybrid, but these sort of cat-like humanoids moving about the camp. You actually start to see a couple of guards in addition to this. So with the six sort of figures in the camp, you start to see another couple coming around the side and sort of heading in your direction. So if you want to stay hidden, you can try and find some stealth and make a stealth check. You, at this point, don't know how aggressive it is, but what you do see, maybe about 300 feet into the side of the camp, hanging from one of the trees, is what could only be described to be a large bird cage, made of wrought iron, and unlike everything else in this village, which is all made of wood and natural materials, this iron cage is hanging from the trees, swaying slowly, probably about 10 feet in diameter, about 15 feet high, just from a very tall tree, maybe about 40 feet off the ground. And from what you can see with your perception check, there are a couple of figures in the cage being held. That's what you see. So the guards will be on you momentarily, but don't appear to have seen you just yet. What would you like to do?
What do we do there? There's a cage over there. They're coming. There's guards, but they seem civilized. They've got houses and flowers and things.
I think if they're civilized, we can probably negotiate with them. This island is too big for us to cover looking for this elven person, and Well, we still have to find supplies for everyone else, so
True.
I think we try and talk to them.
I'll bring out a gem just to be like, if trade.
Good.
Okay, let's go forwards.
I sheathe ? And
I have literally written on a sheet, just question mark.
Alright.
That's the name. You've given
Question
it the
mark.
name, yeah.
and I just kind of raise my hand in the air
Okay.
and just wait.
Hello.
Hailing a taxi.
Brilliant. So,
Hailing a tabaxi.
the
Done.
guards.
Don't do that.
There are three creatures that sort of pop round. One of them seeing you and just very quickly just pointing and like making gestures, and the others alerting them to your presence. One of whom immediately sees you and starts dashing back to the camp. The other two that have seen you start to approach, and they have what appear to be spears sort of in their hands. They move either carefully and they start pointing them towards you, getting closer. They say, What are you doing here? Who are you?
Greetings, friends. We are.
We're not your friends.
Okay, greetings.
Who are you?
We're travellers and merchants looking for
Travellers?
trade. We have shinies. We have gold.
Shiny. What?
Look,
What are you talking about?
what was it? What did you call this one? Moonstone. Moonstone.
Okay, they see the gem, they see it shiny, and they immediately take interest, and they go, Give it to us. Give it to us now.
Hold a moment. Now, you seem like a fairly accomplished warrior.
Damn straight.
Now,
It
we
is true.
are looking for other like-minded warriors here. We're enemies of the ogre clans.
They suck ass. You should see them try to hit an alligator. It's hilarious.
Oh, I love it. Right, I just want to double check something very quickly because...
Uh-oh.
They love ogres.
It's the other way around.
No, because it's important that just for continuity I don't get this wrong. Because
They've actually killed the ogres.
If they love the ogres, then this island's got some weird relationship issues.
Yeah.
hang on. The thing is, I've drawn it, but I've got about 3 weeks worth of notes here, including what appears to be about 5 pages of wedding material. Not entirely sure how that
Surprise!
got
Part of
there.
the plot, we have to marry into the tribe.
Yeah.
Oh god, does that mean there's D&D material in your wedding planning?
Oh my god.
Probably. I
Darling,
probably sent some chef.
I've loved you ever since the day we found the tabaxi who don't like the lizards but do like the ogres despite the fact.
Roll for initiative.
I'm really annoyed
No.
because I'd drawn this out and I've just completely lost. Oh, fine. Anyway, so the ogres.
The ogres like the lizards,
Yeah,
but they don't.
hated the tabaxi.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's big, yeah.
As you say, you mention the ogres, and they sort of look at you. The ogres haven't really ever done anything to us. Why?
Fuck.
What are you talking about?
Well, they say
Put down your weapons now. Give us the things. Reinforcements will be here shortly. Surrender now. And they start approaching with their spears.
I want to very slowly draw the Feyblade.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you going to make a noise? If you make a noise, I'll stop.
No, go for it.
Your hand goes to it.
Yeah.
You start drawing the blade.
I'm not going to attack you.
So very carefully watching you.
Do you recognise this?
The sword.
Yes.
They look at it. No. But that is a beautiful sword. Give it to us. Give it to us now. We'll take it from you.
Plan B? You like this gem?
Yes.
It's a nice gem.
It's a very nice gem.
It'd look good on the mantelpiece of your home. It'd look
What
good
is a mantelpiece?
on your piece of jewellery. It will look amazing on your clothes. I think
It will look amazing
You, sir,
on me.
look, yes. I think to me,
Give it to me. Give it to me now. And they start approaching with the spears and really
of course we'll give this to you. But first, Do you want to know where to find more?
This they take interest, yes. They stop approaching. More.
First one's on the house.
He hand it over, he sort of toss it over to them, he catches it, inspects it, puts down his spear immediately, goes looking at it with an appraising eye. The other one's like, what do you mean more?
More.
And he's like, give it to me, give it to me! And he just tries to take it from the other one.
Oh my God.
But the other one just rips it out of his grasp. Don't come anywhere near me, you! Ah! They just sort of, not scrapping with each other, but like genuinely becoming a little distracted as they're like, give me that, give me that! What do you mean? What do you mean more?
Well, as in, like an amount in addition to what we have currently. I mean,
What are you talking about?
we've shown you one. There's more than one.
Many more.
Many.
How many more?
So,
What are
like,
you talking about?
think of a number.
12.
That's
More.
about right. Okay.
More than 12.
More than 12.
He's gonna think for a second.
In the moonlight.
72?
In the moonlight, we saw a field of them glistening. Now, we can tell you where this is, but that information has a price.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Yeah. Come on,
You've got what they want.
please, for the love of God, use your dice.
How have I managed to? I've got +8 persuasion, but 5.
I literally, it's the second time they rolled the same number
I'm telling you,
twice.
I'm going to take that away from you and stomp on it. Please use the other dice.
13.
13. You think about it. Where? Where are you talking about?
We will tell you once you answer some questions. Some questions. Once you answer some questions, we shall tell you.
What sort of questions?
What sort of questions? Oh, no.
We're looking for an individual. An elf.
Elf.
An elf.
An elf.
One
Not-
is.
We sort of look to each other. We have an elf. Yeah, we've got an elf. What about the elf?
Comes. Whoop.
Can you take us to this person?
Oh, they're there. He points to the birdcage. But that's where you're going to be soon if you don't give us the gems and tell us where they are. And at this point, you start to hear a little bit of movement from the main camp as the one that disappeared to the camp is now bringing back what appears to be another 3 or 4 creatures.
How good a liar are you?
Pretty okay.
Well, we know the ogres don't like the tabaxi.
But we've just heard the factory.
Stage whispers. Stage whispers.
Yes, speak up.
We know the
Okay, so
we know the ogres don't like the tabaxi.
yep. Tabaxi don't give a crap about the ogres.
No, but if we can convince the tabaxi that they're about to be attacked by the ogres,
Sweet holy moly, that sounds good. I'm pretty deceptive.
good. Then let's try that.
Okay, do you want me to take lead or you do want to take lead? We could tell them that the ogres are going. We're all whispering this really quickly.
Yeah, well, no, as you're saying this, the others are starting to approach now, and you're beginning to become encircled by 6 or 7 of these cat creatures now with spears. As they all come towards you, going,
Tell them they're in terrible, terrible danger. Now,
Yes.
say it loud.
You're all in terrible, terrible danger. The ogres. We wanted to tell you about the gems and show you the gems because we know you like gems, but then the ogres are like, no, we can't tell the tabaxi about gems. They suck, cats suck. We will take all the gems for ourselves and then we'll kill all the tabaxi. And we're like, oh no, we like cat people. I once had a cat and I know they're not exactly the same thing as tabaxi.
maybe deception check, but with disadvantage. Not for reasons you understand, but for disadvantages.
Does it count?
Why can
Does it
you not
count?
just roll dice on the table? I just don't understand.
7 and I can't believe it.
Oh,
Oh my God, Sam!
fuck a duck.
Natural 1.
I'm going to just
Yeah.
take all that dice away from you.
The
Oh
ones
my
that have
God.
been
That
sort
later.
of talking to you previously speak to the others, and they keep talking about the ogres being bad people, but they must be the enemies. The ogres are our friends. The ogres would never do anything like that to us. And they sort of go, oh yes, no. There's this murmur of assent for everyone as they all just start agreeing with each other.
Oh,
As they sort of start approaching, quick, drop your weapons. Drop your weapons now, come on.
How many are there?
At the, 7 of them at this point.
I think we can be 7.
no.
So, You notice the commotion.
I was going to say, do I see this happening?
please, save us.
Now, up in the lofty sort of areas of this birdcage, the two of you have been just probably 3-4 days now in
Absolutely
prison.
ghastly.
Exactly, with basic food, all your sort of stuff has been taken away. But certainly it doesn't feel like these tabaxi are going to let you go anytime soon. Vincent is beginning to get not impatient, but he's, even in his sort of flustered posh form, is really starting to beginning to get a little bit wound up now.
Of course, yeah.
And he's like, I do say, what's all that noise?
No.
Don't worry, Vinny, I will find out. Hello? I say, and I shout towards them.
You hear this noise coming from the birdcage.
I say, hello?
As one of the cats turns around and goes, "Shut up, you! Stop, what are you doing?"
I think they're my friends. Don't worry, Vinny, I've got a plan.
Oh, yes, quiet.
Yeah, yes. I'm working on it, don't worry.
What's happening?
I say, I'm Mr. Cat Person. Yes, I believe this is visiting hours. Yes. They're our friends. Yes, we have a right to
What
it.
do you mean, visiting hours? Shut up, you!
No.
You don't...
Absolute brutes. I said, please bring them to us. We will deal with them.
Could use this moment to our advantage if we were more quick thinking.
Vincent sort of
I think
stood
we're so
there
heavily
going,
outnumbered.
yes, they are our friends,
Yes.
indeed. Bring them over here.
Yes.
We'd like very much to have a
Hello?
conversation
Hello,
with the both
please.
of them.
Yes.
Yes.
Service, come on.
Oh, yes, it's so good to see the two of you. We've been worried sick.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Cyril, oh, it's so good to see you. And you brought Barnabas along too. How wonderful.
Yes,
Yes,
Abby.
Cyril.
Hugo, are you well?
Hugo? Who's Hugo?
He's Hugo.
No,
This
it's...
is Odie, you fool.
Yes, and that's Vinny. Remember?
Oh, of course. What are these people?
No idea, but if we can get them out, they might be able to fight.
Barnabas.
At this point, the cat people, the tabaxi, sort of looking around in a state of confusion. Shut up, all of you! Shut up! And one of them takes a rock and attempts to throw it up at the cage, but just it's short, way short. It just sails up and doesn't even get halfway. before
How
that point.
uncouth. I can't... Oh,
I know. Ridiculous. Savages.
savages.
Terrible.
Terrible.
Now, we would absolutely love to tell you where we found all the gemstones, and we will, but we must speak to our friends first.
Gemstones? And the others are now sort of overhearing. What do you mean gemstones?
Oh, did your friend not tell you? We have found...
We came and you've been talking about ogres.
Yep.
Show them one of the...
Accent's going across.
Yeah,
I lost-
Talking about ogres.
I've lost the big one, but
Ooh.
Sorry.
Where did you get that?
Now, it occurs to me that your friend just took one of those from us
Did he?
yep.
and,
You keep away from it.
and intends to keep it for himself.
He didn't say that. You liar. You wouldn't take that from me. You owe me. I do not owe you. He sort of says and they start like really getting into
Do I
argue
see
now.
the gems at all, or is it too far away?
Make me a perception check. Well as well.
Ugh, that's not great.
Don't you judge our dice and then come out of the gate with that.
Seven. Vincent, however, does lean over to you and goes, I do say, my dear, it appears that they have some sort of gem. They don't look very nice, but
No.
they're shiny.
Yeah, well, I think clearly they were going to come into the camp and try and bribe them, but they clearly have no idea about
Yes,
the
it might be
Nazi
flint.
culture.
I'm not sure, but I
Yeah.
think it's flint.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure we'll see them at some point.
We should have thought about that, really.
Yeah, we should have. Actually.
Terrible.
Oh, terrible. Oh,
Do you think they'll come and help us?
I think they'll be here really soon. I don't know. They'll help us.
Okay, while the tabaxi's still arguing,
Yeah.
are they paying attention to us, or
They are
are they
paying
like...
attention to you, but there's some of them are distracted. There's still 7, so there's still 3, 4 looking at you, but they're now beginning to get distracted. And
Now, we can tell you
Later.
where to find more of these gemstones. Many more.
many more.
Many more. Many more. Now, but what we must do first is speak to those people there.
Make me a persuasion check.
I have plan B, but it's not a good one.
Sorry, stay Christmas. I have a plan B, but
That
it's
is
not a
a 16.
16.
good one. Oh.
Sort of narrows his eyes at you. You say that you can give me more.
Many more.
And he sort of thinks to himself, he's licking his lips a little bit, sort of just like scratching himself. Okay, you can have 2 minutes.
Alright.
go, go, and sort of they not stop poking you, but sort of herding you now. The 3 or 4 of them are now utterly distracted and like fighting over this gemstone that the others have got.
Now, I must insist that you bring them down. Like, I cannot possibly speak to them when they're this high.
Of course we can. We've been speaking to them like this.
That's yelling. Come on, you're a being of culture. That much is evident. Now,
that is true.
Now, surely you understand then that to properly converse, one must be at eye level.
Well, that would depend if you were hanging from a canopy or climbing a tree, but no, I see your point.
But how would I see into your beautiful eyes if you were all the way up there? I hear bards can seduce people, so this is my
Wink,
first
wink.
Okay, make me a persuasion check.
Sweet. Oh,
God. It's almost like Blue's not attractive.
that's a natural one.
I was a well-timed natural one, that one, I think. Yeah.
What is the other man talking about?
You said
That's doing that for humour, not for a check, but okay. Too late to say that now.
You can stay away from me.
Okay.
He points you back with the stick and separates you a little bit from Theren and points you back at that. But Theren, you are let sort of close to the cage and this we will lower them, but one wrong move and you're going in there with them.
Of course, we are all friends here. Nothing will happen.
Okay. They sort of makes a gesture and 2 of them now wander over and start cranking this large sort of mechanism by the base of one of the trees, and with a sort of thuddering, the cage now starts to lower. So you've got 4 of them fighting over this gem, 2 of them by the crank, and 1 more just sort of waiting by you, watching everything happen as the cage begins to lower.
Oh my.
And Rudy, this might actually work.
I don't know. We'll see.
What do you think their game is? What's their ruse? They're not after us, are they?
Well, I hope not.
They're not those debt collectors, are they?
No.
Riff-raff.
I mean, we have been travelling for quite some time, and we're not paid. Have you paid your dues at the guild?
Yeah, I've paid up front for years. Well, that may have been years ago.
Oh,
I lose track.
Oh,
it's been a while.
Dear me. Well, we'll see. We'll see what this young man wants. Yes.
And then the cage begins to get lowered, and you just hear this murmuring coming down. Every now and just what? And then it sort of comes through the trees.
Absolutely.
As lowering to the floor, you see 2 figures in the cage. The first, appearing to sort of be maybe in his sort of early 40s, a man with a sort of big studded leather over trench coat, a big explorer's hat with a big feather in it. You can see he's got long, rough black hair that's been loosely tied up into a ponytail and brown eyes, a human. You can see he looks like at one point he has loads of pockets and was very well equipped, but doesn't appear to have much on him at the moment. The second figure is a half-elf. You can tell immediately by her sort of pointy ears. Again, it's always difficult to put the age, but in the sort of early 40s, you'd hazard a guess. Dirty sort of brown hair, again, sort of maybe about sort of shoulder height.
Oh, you say that. It was neck height.
Neck height. To me, it's all the same.
Neck height.
Neck height.
Shoulder length is what the term is, but it's fine.
Fine. Got ya.
Hair.
Got ya.
I don't get her. You see these 2 figures, and again, she appears to be equipped with leather armour, but with very little on her again.
May I ask, in Theron's relatively short lifespan, how many half-elves has he come across? The point is this going to be a big moment, or is this like it's one of those?
No, half-elves, they're not common, but they're not rare. You would hazard probably maybe 1-2% of the population that a given environment are half-elves. So they're certainly not as numerous as, say, halflings or dwarves in some places, but they're certainly they're not uncommon. Though you had 1 or 2 half-elves that were alongside you as you were a page in various sort of assignments. A couple of the other higher members of the order, again half-elves, but no one that you've ever really been close to.
What are you two doing here?
Have the guild sent you?
What guild?
From Ebrit. Yeah. So
I don't think it was.
do you know?
No, he doesn't know who the guild is.
Damn.
Riffraff, where are you from? How do you not know what the guild
That's
is?
so rude, Vinny. I am terribly sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I should
You've
introduce
been here an
myself.
frightfully long time.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yes.
I can smell it, yes.
Ooh.
That's very important.
Very rude. Very rude.
Forgive us, it's been a very long day. My name is Theren ap Alaric from the Order of the Blazing Sun. This is Lou.
So when you say that, the expression on their two faces immediately, there's a moment where they're like a bit sort of taken aback. But the Order, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
It's sort of a long story. Now, we were on a vessel called the Athena, which was attacked while at sea.
Fiona. You'll make a history check.
Oh, sweet. That's a 9.
9, 17, Vincent. He
Clearly picked the wrong character.
I know, skill monkey over here. He sort of thinks about it. He goes, oh yes, that orc chap ran it. Grumac, yes, that sounds about right. Grumac, I need the book.
Oh,
I think I met him once.
Oh, yeah. Was
Yes,
Playtime?
frightfully boring.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
terrible,
a shame.
terrible company.
Oh, that's a shame.
But the Athena's here. This
Yes,
is marvelous news. You must get us out.
Marvellous, yes. Absolutely smashing. Yes, can you get us out?
that's what we're trying to do.
Oh, please do.
Brilliant, yes.
Have you got a plan?
Yeah, what's the plan?
Yeah, no.
Where are your weapons?
Are you all right there?
Yes, I've got a plan B.
Go
but
on. What's your plan?
as Terence says,
Theren.
No,
Yeah.
Cyril. His name is Cyril. You're Barnabas.
Barnabas and Cyril.
Yes.
Yep. Have you got all your stuff?
Do you have
They're the savages. They took it away. They put it in some sort
All
of...
of it?
Yeah.
Yes, our bows, our arrows.
Arrows, my swords, everything. It's
Do you
terrible.
I've even
need...
got my bag. Why will you take my bag?
Yeah,
It's full of all knick-knackery.
yeah, it's not very nice at all. I mean, you've been needing to replace it for a long time.
I have. You
Yes.
have been telling me that.
Yes, I've been telling you last time
Awfully
about
long
Ebrit.
time.
Okay,
No.
okay. Have you got a plan?
If we can arm them, we can potentially fight.
I can do something which will give us an escape route.
What? Oh, you can create a...
Smoke.
That's awfully.
Yeah,
it's awfully great.
I love a
But he
project
said
that's-
then Vincent kind of like rattled the chain.
Yes.
It's a little bit locked right now.
That is also true.
Stop antagonizing the tabaxi.
We're not doing anything.
The boots. Oh yes, that is true. Yes.
Why have they got you here?
Oh.
This has gone on for more than 2 minutes, but anyway.
They're arguing, they can't...
Yeah, they're busy.
I throw another... No, I don't.
Well, it was a very good question. We were here on the island looking for treasure.
Yes.
And we'd heard tales of beasts. And we
Yes,
came here and...
yes.
Oh, felines that walked. We came over and introduced ourselves and hoped that they would...
The snaky people, yes. I heard about those.
The lizards.
Yes, the lizards. Yes,
Frightful
yes,
chaps,
yes.
yes, disgusting creatures.
Oh,
Oh yes,
Gross.
we bumped into one of the lizards before, and they seemed to not mind these cat fellows. So we came up and introduced ourselves and says, we were the lizards, and they attacked us on sight.
you know, thinking about it now, maybe we should not have mentioned the lizards.
It was a bad
No,
idea.
it was. Maybe
We should have wooded through.
We
Now
should
you
have
see,
thought
this
about
is very interesting information because we encountered 2 ogres.
Ogres.
Oh,
Ogres,
oh my
yes.
goodness.
Rumours of ogres.
And
So interesting.
it
Tell me more.
seems that this island is in some strange sort of relationship that's kind of fallen apart. So the ogres like the lizards, but they hate the tabaxi.
Really?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we
Now-
met the lizards. They hated the ogres.
Yes, now, and we just told the tabaxi that we're enemies of the ogres, but they seem to like the ogres.
So, by that conclusion, then, surely the cat people must not like the lizard people. Am I right? Is that
I
right?
think that's dead on.
Oh, brilliant.
Good
Excellent.
Reginas.
Oh,
Right, well, at least we now know
There
what...
must be some game we could play on this.
Yes, yes. I love games.
A ploy.
Oh,
A ruse.
Well, that would be good, but you've already told the cat people that you hate the lizards.
It's alright, we can...
No, we told them we were with the lizards.
yes,
It's our
yes. They're
mistake.
completely
That
different.
intelligence of 6, I think you're fine.
Then
talking
why
about?
don't...
No,
Why
no,
don't
no.
Then listen to me, why don't we tell
Doing
them
yourself down.
that you were sent ahead to infiltrate the lizards for an attack,
Oh.
and we're here to finalise that attack. If the tabaxi do not like the lizards, then that should play into our hands.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, fabulous.
Can you get our bows?
Yeah.
With our bows, then
We-
4 of us, you appear to be all well armed. We could at least We can fight off a little bit of riffraff, but,
if it
but if we
happens,
can get
yes.
out of here, that sounds like a great idea.
Yes.
All right then, let's try and convince the Tabaxi to give you your weapons back and release you.
Splendid. Do what you can.
Marvellous. Yes.
They don't listen to us. We've been talking to them for days. They ignore us.
I know, it's so rude. It's
Terrible.
Before we do, I have a question to ask of you. Is it just Odie that's half elf?
Yeah, the other bloke, Vincent, appears to be a human.
I want to take out the silken elven handkerchief. Go. Does this mean anything to you?
History check.
Oh, I see. Oh. My stats are so terrible. It's a 10.
They're not terrible. They're normal stats, Fiona. Normal stats. 10. You recognise it of elven make, but nothing more than that, really.
I mean, it's if you should keep it. I'm okay. I'm already dirty. I don't want to dirty your khaki, so I push it back to him.
Yep. Okay.
All right, be ready.
Of course.
Be ready.
We have to convince the Tabaxi to give the weapons back.
You take the lead. I'll get Plan B ready.
I want to turn back to the Tabaxi guard that's closest.
Yeah, he's sort of watching, sort of listening in. Doesn't really he's following it all, but is still sort of with his spear out.
You may lower that. It appears to have just been one terrible misunderstanding.
Terrible.
What do you mean?
My friend, we are allies. Now, it occurs to me that when our companions came to your camp and said that they were with the lizards, that was perhaps they misspoke, shall we say. Now, we are part of a larger force.
Larger force?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Larger force of fighters, of warriors, who have come to this land to wipe out the lizards.
Kill them all!
Can I turn to Vinny and go, I bet you 2 gold. We're not going to get out of this alive.
And in Elvish, he replies to you, I think you're absolutely right.
Terrible.
I think we're screwed. We're buggered.
I want to just kind of glance behind and go,
He sort of, Vincent looks at you, and Vincent looks at you, oh right.
Oh,
yeah.
Very awkward.
Winks at you.
maybe we should leave them to die.
I mean, let's see how far
Larger
we get.
task force. What? I don't know what a task force is, but we're going to be taking out the lizards.
We're going to wipe them out.
Yeah.
Make a persuasion check.
It's not, it's a 10.
Swear to God.
How do we know that you're not just coming in here with your honeyed words and trying to ruse us?
How would I know that you're an enemy of the lizards had we not prepared this operation for months?
How dare you? We hate the lizards far more than you could ever imagine.
And how would I know that? You know me. You've charted every part of this island. Have you ever seen our faces
We're
before?
rulers of this island. We are the kings, the princes, the queens.
Then why
of
do you
this
think
island.
we're coming to you?
I go, 3 gold that we're not going to get out now.
Quite frankly, if I had my coin purse on me, dear Odie, I would bet you 10. He sort of thinks about it. Fine. And you help us. You help us with an attack on the lizards. We wipe them out.
Fine.
Then we will be allies.
But my allies need their weapons first.
What? Those two?
Yes, those two.
Hello.
Quite. We could join in. We're very capable.
Well, very capable, yes.
Shut up, you. Rattles the bar.
Absolute cats.
How do we know? How do we know that you're not going to just attack us when we let you out?
Well, there's a lot more of you than us.
Oh,
It'd
there
be
are.
pretty
There
stupid.
are 4 of you. You see 7 here, but there are at least 30 of us.
Yeah.
I haven't actually counted recently.
Oh.
But there are at least 30.
I mean, yeah, why would we fight you guys?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
We are fierce warriors.
I mean, if we had our task force, then maybe, but even then, we like you guys. We work on the same team.
We're here to work
How big
with
is your
you.
task force?
I mean,
When we attack the lizards, our forces will strike from the other side, wiping them out completely. There'll be nowhere for them to run.
boom! Sorry, laptop.
I see, slap the bars really hard.
Sort of thinks like, fine, but We'll take you to the leader. She'll know what to do.
Awesome.
Quick, get these two out of the cage, and he rattles it, and the other two from the crank, they just sort of come over and fiddle around with the lock for a couple of seconds and swing it open, and Vincent and Odie just sort of stretching themselves out a bit, sort of proceeds out. Blimey, solid ground! Oh, it's a bit squelchy.
Jolly Ron.
I know, my boots.
Maybe best to appear like hardened warriors.
Oh, quite, yes. And in Elvish, he's sort of thinking, yes, this is a good idea. Terribly smart, yes. And back to Common, he flicks and says, yes, quite. Now, if I could have my explorer's kit and all of my goods and equipment, I'd very happily take part in this hunt with these fine chaps.
Good, yes, fighting.
Yes, and I cannot possibly go anywhere without my longbow. It is vital as a lady of the Adventurers Guild. Anywhere I go is, with my longbow.
Yes, I don't think they know who the Adventurers Guild is, but quite, we demand the respect.
Vinny,
In Elvish, I quickly say, more like warriors, less like
yes,
lost
quite,
explorers.
Yes. Splendid.
Take us to your leader, please.
Yes, I will. Points you forward. And the four of you are sort of pushed into the central camp where, again, you make your way in. And again, on the ground level of this camp, the floor is treaded and compacted with reeds and with sort of bark and twigs that have been put down to almost create like a sort of solid floor. Paths that have been sort of well worn in. You can see sticks upon sticks upon sticks, so years worth of like piling them in has just created this sort of semi-solid ground, and all up the trees is like animals have been just ripping the bark apart from all angles as these cats have just been climbing up and down these trees. A couple of maybe 5-6 other faces beginning to sort of stare out at you from the various windows as you're led through. The sort of 7 guards now finish their squabbling, kind of come and escort you through, with now sort of 13, 14 faces all past you. And you are led to the central tree that most of the ropes in some way sort of connect to. And the guard that was sort of keeping an eye on you, that sort of watches you, don't you dare move, and sticks his spear in the ground and just starts scampering up this tree at an incredible rate, like just as fast as could be walked or run. He just scampers up this thing 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 feet up into the air, and enters into one of the top grander houses up there, one of the few to have been painted with weird sort of red smudges and green sort of mouldy sort of paint, just anything they could get. It's not particularly artistic, but still an attempt. Sort of 3-4 minutes pass as some sort of conversation is had above, and eventually you find the cat making his way back down, just descending almost upside down, head first on the ground, just climbing down this tree, followed by another tabaxi creature, this time all black fur, sort of white stripes up her tail and sort of around her arms and face. And actually when she hits the ground and sort of stares up at you, you can see flecks of grey hairs have sort of appeared everywhere. She seems far older than the others, and she sort of peers at you. Who have you brought me here? And the cat says, they talk about gems and killing the lizards. This could be glorious. And she sort of thinks, explain yourselves. What do you mean?
I bow. Say, my queen, we come from outside of this island. We have heard of the menace, the pox upon the world that is the lizards, and we seek their destruction just as you do. Now, my allies, these two here, they came ahead of time to scout out the lizard camp. Via some misunderstanding, they were imprisoned by your people. Now, no fingers need be pointed, no blame assigned, mistakes happen. What's important now is that we are allies aligned in one goal, and as a reward, we can show you where you will find many, many shiny gems.
Shiny.
She sort of glances at you, sort of eyes fixed back on Theren, and you promise a lot. We do not receive many visitors, but these two did arrive in a state of aggression. She thinks about it. What promise could you make that you will follow through? If we send our finest warriors with you to take the lizard scum down, how do we know that you will not betray us in the heat of battle?
This is a good point. Maybe if we prove ourselves by going forth, attacking one of the weaker scouting parties and bringing back their heads, would that prove it to you? Wink.
Make a deception check with advantage.
Ooh. Is it 18?
18?
18.
Fucking
She
hell.
thinks about it. Yes, that would be sufficient payment. Those disgusting lizard creatures round the swamps, they send their patrol parties near, encroaching upon our forests. They seek to claim what is ours. Yes, find me a party, bring me their heads, and yes, and this alliance will be true. We will trust that you will help us defeat the lizards, and the spoils shall be shared.
Now, if we're to do that, our allies here will need their weapons back.
Can't cut off a lizard head without a cutting thing.
That is true. She sort of thinks about it. Yes, fine. Get their equipment back. Sort of, you see cats disappearing off up the trees and bringing back sort of goods sort of between them. You see Vincent's eyes light up as he's like, oh goodness, my equipment! How splendid! And he sort of takes the bag and he's like, sort of, oh, the buckles! Look, Odie, they've scratched this and the claws.
It could have been a lot worse.
Stop complaining!
This is all in Elvish. So, this is like,
Yeah. Be like, we don't speak the common tongue now.
While they're doing that, I just go, trust me, Blue, you do not want to know.
just claws on the wax, you know?
I
It's
know.
terribly uncouth.
Totally.
Gloves. Could have worn gloves.
Once we get back to Ebridge, I know a great wax.
I envy you at this moment.
Yes.
What are they talking
They do.
about?
Yes,
Nothing.
and I will happily. I mean, you won the bet. We are out alive now. So
He
I
looks
will
worried
give
about
you
his
back.
clothing.
Yes, I'll cash in your Brit.
Hey.
That sounds
That
wonderful.
sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay,
From
so,
what I can gather, they're both going to a Brit anyway, so that's something.
Great, we all go
So
there
they-
for some reason.
lower the bags and yeah, the equipment is sort of brought. You can see Odie's brought a very long, fine-looking longbow, complete with quivers and arrows.
Matching set.
Yeah, Vincent a shorter bow, but still sort of vicious-looking with his quiver. A very fine rapier and sort of dagger is brought to him. You can see Odie's swords are brought, two sort of short swords that she sort of again quite aptly sort of twirls and sticks them back in.
Marvelous. Oh my god, I feel so much better.
I know, it's like a new set of clothes.
Oh, it's so it's
Splendid.
not even a new set. It's like a new.
We haven't been shopping for ages. I'm
that was-
looking forward to
If
that.
we could get moving.
Oh, sorry, quite. Yes.
Apologies.
And so Vincent is yes, well, we would happily bring the heads of your enemies. It sounds like a wonderful day trip.
Yes, within reason. Basically, yes.
Yes.
Switch to Elvish very quickly and say, we'll get out of the camp, make sure we're not being followed, and then you can tell us everything that you know and we shall share what brings us here.
Yes, sounds like a good plan.
Yes.
And at this point,
I feel excluded.
the cat lady just sort of goes, shh, stop talking a language we understand. This is rude.
Don't worry, we're not speaking about anything. Do not worry. You're silly
No,
about it.
quite. We are just
Yes.
reminiscing.
We will
We're not
leave now,
friends.
Your Majesty.
Your Majesty, I also find it rude. It sucks. So anyway, yep. Nice meeting
Whatever
you.
this is on. Go out, kill the lizards, and come back. or we will find you and we will not be as merciful the second time. And she points towards the two. Oh, well, quiet,
yes. Upwards?
Yep.
Yep. Off we go.
Wonderful. And in sort of like a sort of very awkward, like rushed sort of leaving, the four of you leave the camp accompanied by Tabaxi, sort of kind of ferry you maybe to about a kilometre out when they start to sort of then slink back into the trees and go back towards the village, and you are left all alone.
My goodness, this is going to make such a report.
Yes. What a story.
Oh,
Good sirs, what a
thank you.
daring
so much.
rescue mission. I doff my hat to you
Yes.
both.
Why are you both here? This is the middle of nowhere.
Well, I could say the same to you.
Yes.
We are intrepid explorers
Yes.
from the Adventurers Guild.
Yes.
Who are you?
Ah, I'm glad you asked. My name is Vincent Sparrowhawk III. Great to meet you. Oh, that's a big hand.
This is a massive claw.
Yes, and your name?
Theren ap Alaric of the Order of the Blazing Sun.
Yes, you mentioned an alderman. That's a very strange place for you to be. You don't look anywhere near as old.
Thank you.
Ah, you're welcome. Though age doesn't agree with anybody. Trust me.
What about you with the neck-long hair?
Neck height hair. Sorry, I really got me.
Good, I'm just going right back down. Neck height.
hair. I think you must have been tired. It's fine.
NHH.
My name is Odette Ambrose, but Odie to my friends is so. What a pleasure to meet you. And I do a proper kiss on both cheeks. And I do the same for. I do the same for.
Oh yes, charmed for sure. Yes.
Enchanted.
And what was your name? Sorry.
I'm Blue.
Blue.
Yeah.
I prefer Barnaby.
I know, Barnaby.
Yeah.
Can we call you Barnaby?
Barnaby,
Barnaby, blue is a colour.
Yes.
You are aware that blue is a colour,
Yes.
right?
I
Not
mean,
name.
if you picked it, it's your own name. We respect that
Oh,
choice.
totally.
Yes.
Well, it's very modern like
It's
that.
very modern, but
Totally.
Barnaby would. It rolls off the tongue. Barnaby.
It's nice, but I often say it's
Barnaby.
very important to get people's names right.
Barnaby. Do you not think it's quite rolls off the tongue?
I mean, it's not my name, so it'd be quite rude
Oh,
to
we
call
don't want
me
to be seen
that.
we don't want to be seen as rude, Vinny.
Names
true,
are
that's
very
true.
important to me.
Good introductions and all, yes.
Of course, of
Right.
course.
Anyway,
This is a test, isn't it? This is a test.
So anyway, we're on the island, we're adventuring. We are looking for treasures and stories, and we heard tales of beasts and wild animals.
And treasure,
We've heard tales, already, haven't we, of alligators bigger than you could imagine.
So massive. Oh gosh. Are you quite
Like
alright?
this sort of thing.
Yeah.
No, our boat arrived, we got off and got captured by these
Oh.
bloody cats.
Oh, cats, all of them.
Terrible.
Oh, terrible.
Terrible.
Just a bit of spot above there, but we knew we'd be able to, and again, the experience, the immersiveness of the jungle.
Imagine telling this story by a fire with some whiskey. Great.
Oh, well, port for me, darling.
Oh,
yes,
that's
yes.
very true.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is good. Now, I do want to know all your stories because it's kind of my trade.
What is it that you do?
Tell
Barnaby?
stories.
Tell stories, Barnaby.
Are you now?
Oh,
What marvellous news!
How
Smithing!
I
Oh,
love.
you must tell us some
Oh,
stories.
yes, I love stories. I love a good story.
But not now. Now we
okay.
have a very urgent mission and lives are at stake.
Oh gosh.
Oh, I thought that was a lie.
Yes. Are you not trying to get
not
off the
that.
island?
Yes, we are now. But there's something we have to tend to first.
Oh,
What would that be?
yes.
Our friend was just killed.
Yeah, by an alligator.
One of those that you are so desperate to see.
Oh, that's
I hope for
They
your sake.
exist?
Yeah.
I knew they were here.
Oh, you.
Yes,
I
we've-
give you a gold coin. You were right.
Thank you, yes. Yeah, might better.
I mean, we can show you its body when we're finished if you like.
Can you?
That's amazing. Oh, you know
So
what?
kind.
I've been meaning to have your bag. But we can get you a new bag from the. Oh,
sorry, I
it's
said-
But my manners,
Yes,
my
of
manners.
course,
I'm
apologies,
so sorry.
apologies.
Maybe we
You
need
lost a friend.
a bell
That
or
sounds
something.
awful.
Yep.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
so sorry to hear that.
And we can get them back through.
What?
Well, we
We
met.
found a way of bringing our friend back. Or rather, we've made a deal
Deal.
with one of the Fae.
They here. And you made a deal with them.
Yeah, that's unheard of.
Well,
Make
here,
make a history check with advantage because you.
12. 12, so
oh
that's,
my god.
that's 14.
Oh, advantage, you're all just rolling the same
14.
number twice.
He kind of. But they here.
I mean, it's not unheard of. I
And
guess.
actually, you haven't heard of Fae being here, but stories of Fae that you've heard of
Yes.
in your sort of training, and that's splendid. If one was here.
That's an incredible experience. It must have. Oh, wow. I'm overwhelmed. That is such a story to tell. You should come back with us to Ebert and tell it.
Yes.
That'd be amazing.
Well, if you would allow us to come with you and,
Of course,
and help you with this story, this is marvellous news.
Oh.
No, apart from the death, apart from that, that's
Yes,
terrible.
that's terrible.
Have you got
I'm
a
so
boat?
sorry. Yes.
Yes, yes, well,
Is it a big boat?
Well, it's big enough, I'll have you know.
Like-
Stop the size.
Do you have
Don't worry about that. It's fine. Yes, I know.
Not again.
Our ship was attacked. We're desperate for supplies.
Supplies.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And as soon as I remember,
We need a sail.
some food, some carpentry tools. If you came here on a boat, I'm assuming quite a small skeleton crew.
Us two.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
it's very small. It's fine,
Yeah,
but
one, two.
All right.
Oh.
Then what we could do, potentially we could demolish your boat and use its parts to fix the Athena.
I think what he says is that repurpose our boat.
no, I think he said destroy. What a terrible idea. I have you know our boat is probably worth far more than your wreck.
It's very awkward to ask for things you don't have when you just meet someone. I thought you should know that.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Terrible behaviour.
I'm so
But
sorry.
Sorry.
no,
but-
I did some of these things. No, those cat tabaxi things. They had all kinds of ropes and
Loads of stuff.
canvases
Yes. We
and
saw
silk.
it. You were using it whilst we're in the cage. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
everywhere.
Well, for various reasons, I don't think that's a good move. No, unless we
do actually help them wipe out the lizards, but
We
we don't have.
don't know the lizards.
Well, the lizards, you say as well.
They're nice
They've
people.
gone some way from what we could see when we briefly saw the encampment. They briefly fortified the place.
Yes.
Wooden stakes and planks and all kinds of things.
yes.
If you're after lumber, they have plenty of the damn
They
stuff.
do. Yes. That's a good point. Yes.
Do they have canvas or food? They'll have food.
Now, I told you that already. The canvas is with the cats.
Come
on, chop, chop.
okay.
So the cats
Write it
have
down.
the cats have the canvas.
But you know, they do they have a monopoly on canvas?
Well, I don't know, but I didn't see any by the lizards. Did you, Odie?
No, I don't. Well, we weren't looking for canvas, were we?
No, we weren't. That's true.
Yeah.
Look at the stories.
You were saying about food.
We need
Jesus Christ,
we need Aubrey first.
Yep.
But you was talking about food, yes?
Yes.
I'm very good at foraging.
She's very good.
I'm very good.
Can you forage for an entire crew of
Oh,
people?
give us some
Give it
time. Yeah.
damn good try.
I'm bloody good at it.
1.5 days.
If that's, I mean, I'm sure we'll be doing other things in that way.
You reckon in a day and a half you could get a decent amount of game? Ms. Forests and Swamps are very serviceable for.
I could definitely give it a shot. Yes, you think that's a good idea, Billy?
It sounds like a story.
Yes.
I mean, if we can help in any way in
Yes.
this resurrection quest,
Oh,
how could you
have you-
imagine?
Have you encountered any elven folk here?
Elven folk? No, not apart from Odie, no.
I'm afraid I've only counted myself.
Someone with a very distinct looking necklace.
No,
No.
can't say I have.
A necklace, though. Oh, that would be amazing to find.
I would love that.
love finding treasure, as you know. It's my one main goal.
Does this sword mean anything to either of you?
Again, history check.
You know when I said I didn't think this was gonna be a
God.
good way?
That's a 9 for history.
Please
tell me Vinny gets something better.
Vincent's got 21.
Fuck's sake!
He
Vincent.
looks
Can I
at
swap
that-
characters?
He looks at it and sort of, blimey, that is. This is ancient. I haven't seen a piece like this, and you look at it. Look, this is clearly. Oh, this is beyond Elvish. This is Sylvan. This is Fey.
Well,
Goodness
that
me,
does-
where did you get
That
this?
just makes sense because they didn't mean to favour.
That's true. The story is true. The game is afoot. Oh dear, we must help them.
Yes, you're quite right. I'm so sorry. The fever has overcome me.
Oh yes, it does.
I'm sit down.
A good story will do that to you. Yes,
I feel
flushes
quite-
the
I
brain.
feel quite faint.
Yes, right in the face, I'd say. Yes, happens to us all.
Okay.
Lead the way if we can help.
No, you're not. You don't understand. We don't know where we're going. Now, this Fae told us to seek out an elf who could potentially direct us toward this being that stole a very valuable necklace from him.
So, to clarify, the
I fuck it up.
creature said that he didn't know where the necklace was, but
It's close.
the elven creature seemed like he said something on the lines of he has faith that elves will generally help should you ask for it. He didn't say that the elf would knew where the stuff was, but certainly there would be assistance there.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we've got 4 people now. Are you any good at following tracks?
Oh, it's my forte. Do not worry, I can find anything, but what are we looking for then?
We have some tracks that
Oh, yeah.
we need you to follow.
Of course. I'm more than happy to help.
It's
Get
a,
you out of spot and bother, yes.
it's a monster, we think. It's good.
Monster?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
goodness
it,
me.
it had a shack with bones all over it and creepy, evil kind of
Sorry, I
interior.
must stop you there. Oh, gosh, it's too graphic for me. Please, ladies and
that sounds dangerous.
Yeah, but
Blimey.
good for a story.
That is true.
Very true.
Yes.
Should we show them the way?
Let's show them the way.
Let's go!
Splendid. And yeah, you all start to head off. So you kind of make your way from the camp towards the centre of the island. I'm just trying to check something. Any because just wanted to see if these guys would spot anything as we're going down.
What I was going to say was because of my ability, does the difficult terrain go away for everyone? And
Yes.
that will you get there much quicker?
Yeah.
Cool.
So basically,
So spot!
yeah.
She knows
You
her
start
way around.
leading the way towards down into the sort of the middle of the island where you sort of last left off. You get probably about 5 minutes before Odie is snapping at your heels. It's just like,
Just no. This way. It must be this way.
and she starts leading you like different paths, and she like clearly this is the dry way,
that
and
way,
like
yes,
whatever.
come on.
And you find yourself going in weird inverted ways in the same direction, but the pace of your movement picks up remarkably, and you make very good time. Instead of sort of an hour and a bit's travel, you get there probably about 30 minutes as you hit the
That
centre
air,
of
can
the
you smell
island.
it? It's so lovely, this forest air. Oh,
Oh, I don't know about that.
no.
It's quite stale,
No,
but
no, here. It's on here. Oh, it's gorgeous. Anyway,
Smells better than the swamp.
exactly. Oh,
well, there's a beautiful lake.
yes.
I hadn't been here before. Yeah, so where are we looking for the tracks?
Yes.
On the island.
The island.
On the island floor, there are tracks. It looks like this being is almost like its talons, claws are going into the earth.
Oh, blimey. So, we're looking for something with sharp claws, and you say the tracks were in the middle of the island. And did you see where they went?
Nope, that's why we need you guys.
Sort of things like that. But, I mean, I'm looking at the island there. She can't have gone far.
That's true. Well, let's go investigate, Vinny.
Yes.
We'll
Well,
find out
I
more.
tell you what. Shall we look around the edges, see if we can see any tracks coming away?
Good
see if they've
idea.
left
Yes,
it.
yes.
Yeah,
Jolly
wonderful.
good, jolly good, yes.
So he will, in the usual sort of way that the two of you go,
Of course, yes.
and investigate such things. Make me a survival check with advantage.
Of course.
As you see the two of them just sort of starting to get into that.
Oh.
You both saw that 16
Yeah.
to 3. Okay, that is
That's
finally a 19.
19.
Survival.
So immediately, after sort of like 5-10 minutes of looking, Vinny points out a track and Odie's like on it immediately, and you start to follow this set of tracks. Again, those same sort of claw prints. As you start to follow them for a little bit, you can tell a few things.
Excellent,
Now,
yes, I
you
was
have to
gonna say.
remind me of the categories that you
Yep.
can tell,
Okay, well, it's
and
my
I'll tell you what you need to know.
favourite enemy is beast. Primeval
So
awareness.
you do not think it is a beast.
Not a beast. Fine. That would be too easy. I did read this earlier.
This one's, oh no, it's a new character issues, it's fine. These things happen.
These things happen. primeval awareness.
They're the twins in Bioshock Infinite. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, that's what I'm
the gist
getting.
I'm getting.
So, oh no, it's favoured enemies, isn't it? So yeah, my primeval awareness, basic mood or intent,
It's all
or emotional state.
Told you, brother.
Can't use this against a creature I've attacked in the last 10 minutes. Spending 1 minute of interrupted
Alright, so you're after the tracking one, not the.
Yeah, sorry.
I think it's the third level one.
These are all the things that Katie can do but never do.
Oh, yes. No, actually, I don't think so. Yes, like it's.
Am I bringing it bottom right?
Bottom right?
That's true.
I might have simplified it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to try and vary that.
New characters.
Yeah.
By the way, Ryan, I'm going to steal so much of this for my campaign. Sorry, David, you're going to be going through it twice.
Oh, it's fine. I mean, not noble being in the forest is probably going to be hilarious.
It just says, so spend a minute, sense favourite enemies within 5 miles of you, but if my favourite enemy is a
So the
beast.
tracking, hang on. This is blah 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 blah. When tracking, you learn exact numbers, their sizes, how long ago they passed through the
Fair
area.
enough.
So
Yes, my bad, yeah.
it is one creature.
One creature?
You reckon probably about 6 foot tall,
Very good.
standing on 2 legs, and you think that the creature was probably about 3 days ago.
Yes, it's been some time, I'm afraid. They've clearly left the area, but I'm sure we can at least follow these tracks and see where they lead to, yes.
Either way.
I do.
Wonderful. Alright, so make a second round of survival checks as you try and track this creature.
Okay, sorry, I'm reading it again.
Can I provide some inspiration?
You can.
By going,
Well, how would you like to do that?
Oh. These guys, and I speak loudly so they can hear, these guys may seem like posh idiots, but I actually think they're pretty good at this.
Quite right.
Especially this OT and Viscount.
Very close.
Shit. No, I don't know why I'm doing
No,
that.
he's
So
giving
I'm
me
a
a
D6.
So it's just a straight roll for survival then.
no, with advantage for survival
Okay.
because he's helping.
They talk
He's
funny,
helping.
Right,
but
okay,
I think
it's
they're
about-
good.
18. That's a 6, 18.
And get your
22.
inspiration dice, which you should use
Oh,
now because
yeah.
it'll disappear otherwise.
So it's 18, 20, 25.
25, like a bloodhound.
Nice.
You follow this trail.
Oh, let's go.
It takes you probably about 2 hours of travelling through the forest as you start following your way around this track. The track sort of appears to go towards the northwest side of the island. So between where it becomes a bit more sort of rugged and hilly and where the swamp is at its thickest, you sort of rise and the path starts double backing on itself. It goes round and it looks like a very wayward path as it makes its way around. The first sort of set of clues you find is what appears to be the carcass of some small animal that has been sort of ripped apart effectively and scraped and eaten clean. The bones, several missing just in random places.
Oh no.
You follow it for another couple of hours and you spot something. So everyone make a perception check.
Motherfucker.
Ooh.
I'm supposed to be fucking looking at
The
perception. Oh, that's not better. 8.
18.
10.
10. And perception for this guy is 15. So, Vinny and
Those bones are awful.
Theren, the two of you notice up ahead, you're looking for this sort of creature, this 6 foot sort of creature, and you think you see it, but then there's a couple. Your eyes spot what appears to be 3-4 sort of reptilian figures. Again, sort of poking at something on the ground. This time, again, lizard folk sort of looking in. They're sort of reptilian hunched necks and bodies looking over, poking at something on the floor. You can hear just sort of rasping noises and sort of conversation, but at the moment you're sort of out the way, you haven't been spotted just yet, as these things seem to be sort of muttering and poking something. The track seems to go towards them, and then you don't know
where it goes
Odie after that.
Okay.
There are lizards ahead of us.
Yes.
I think they are. Alright, so just to clarify, the lizards, by the strange logic of this island, don't like the ogres and do like the tabaxi.
That's it.
Right, alright, okay. Besides, I think I have a plan on how we will deal with the tabaxi.
Ooh.
If you said the lizard camp was fortified, didn't you?
Yes, with planks and
Yes.
stuff, yes.
Right, okay, so if the lizard camp is fortified, now we can see if the lizards have any recent dead. We can take one of their heads, return to the tabaxi, lure them into an attack, and ambush them.
Well,
I mean, let's
The
put that on the
problem is-
later base.
Yes.
the problem is the Tabaxi are after a hunting party. This looks like a hunting party.
Yes.
Why we could just
Which is jump
ambush
in.
this lot.
Yes.
Do we not like lizard people? Are they evil? I don't know.
We don't know.
like lizard people?
We've
Yeah.
not spoken to them yet.
I mean, I have no strong feelings either
You've not
way.
completed the 100% of this island yet.
I mean, I'm pretty scaly.
Well, I mean, no judgment cast.
No.
It's a skin.
Perhaps you should lead.
Ooh, maybe.
If you could maybe have some affinity with them.
I mean, it's just a skin condition, but I can see.
It's not a skin condition, Blue.
What? Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I think like we should keep it. If you feel strong enough and confident, I believe in you, and I'm more than happy to keep you covered from the trees.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will,
Just in case it goes
Yes,
south.
quite. We can provide some
Yes.
pretty decent range.
Yes, from
support.
most
and I will stand beside you.
Oh, okay. Cool. Sounds good. Right, should we go on? Say hello?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
Stealth
you
behind the
approach
tree. Yeah.
These 4 individuals. So yeah, stealth check. Here.
The 10.
Okay, great.
New dice next week then.
Let's see what the rest.
Oh, the natural 20! You used up a natural 20!
It's a random.
You know what? Actually, just because the time.
They both rolled natural 20s when they didn't
That's why
need
we
the
don't
bloody
roll
roll.
the dice when it's not your
You
go.
idiots!
I'm actually going to call it there just for now. 'Cause This is a really good time because it's about 10 o'clock now, so we'll come back to this and we'll pick up this
Used up
encounter
2
from
natural
the ground.
20s.
But
You don't use. That's not how probability works.
Totally
It
is.
is.
you've never seen the lottery.
Yeah.
Oh, that was really good, Ryan.
You're very welcome. Yeah, there we go. Got a couple more. Well, building up a picture of the island slowly
Yeah,
in its
it's
nonsensical nature.
Yes.
I was really hoping you'd get on the circular thing at some point.
Rather.
I really thought you had it, and then you were like, "Oh yeah, so we're really good friends with the lizard people," and I was like, "Oh, so close, so close." But yeah,
You see, my first. Oh, sorry, never mind.
No,
No,
good.
No, my first thought was when we first encountered the ogres and they did like one and didn't like the other, that it would have some sort of weird love triangle going on.
Hate triangle.
Hate triangle,
There
that's
you
the
go.
one.
exactly.
Oh, arguably, it is a love triangle, just in the really wrong way.
Love is wrong, but we will pick this up next time, where the party will see if we've got a combat encounter or a
Yes.
diplomatic encounter. Who knows which way it'll go? This party keep me on my toes, so
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes next time. But until then, thank you very much for watching. See you later.
See ya.
Find my dice.